Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn, and I have lots of reads for you today. I believe it's 4 of my messages of the day. I have the read on the table for you, which is a twin flame read, which this will be more towards the end. I want to get right in because there's a lot of information there. Really cool downloads have been coming in like every day. I've been using these 4 decks together and they're really bringing through a lot of messages. So I want to get started so we can get through as much as I can since we have a week worth of messages coming in here. So I'm starting on the 24th. Yeah, starting on the 24th until today, which is the 1st of October. Welcome to October. And let's roll the die first. Go ahead and take a few deep breaths if you'd like to. Okay, we have the 12, which is the hanging man, which is Pisces, but I usually get Capricorn, and it's 12 of December, which is Capricorn as well. We also have the moon here. So there's that responsibility energy coming up from the 12, but also that complete set, the 1 and the 2 of the masculine and feminine, and of course 12 of wisdom. The moon is Cancer, and we are coming up on a new moon. I don't know the exact date, but it's in a couple days. And that's Libra's new moon. So Libra's coming in here too. And then we have Aquarius over here. So this energy of balance and of the home and family. And again, the energy of Aquarius. And again, the sudden water events with the storms I'm getting right now. But also we the people, you know, for the people, by the people, etc. is coming up right now as well. And also noticing the 2 waves, because that's coming up in the messages as well, the 2 waves. Okay, so starting on the 24th, I don't have a picture of the cards from this message. I just wanted to bring up a couple points that were coming up because Archangel Michael was coming up, as well as the root of the inner child. So there was a connection here between Archangel Michael and the inner child at the root, that stunted growth, so to speak. The angel, tiger, lioness connection was coming up as the angel, tiger, lioness, Sophia is the 1-to-1 thread. The root room of the second coming of the inner child to purge root energies. The tie-on, Sophia's thread to remember, right? So join up again. Re-up your membership. Sophia's 1-to-1 thread. And then the sine wave was coming up, and again taking me back to the 3 circles of 2 pi and 1 salt in the middle, which, and again, these symbols of the sine wave and then the pi and salt in the middle, but this is also nitrogen. I believe that's right. And then this is actually, instead of 3 separate ones, or even the Vesica Pisces where the 2 come together first, it's the 2 independently connecting with source and then coming together through that source energy, which then connects them both. The 2 peas in a pod on a wave, housed on delivery and death, right? So when you birth and die, it's that same energy of being in between as I'm losing my voice. 2 peas in a pod. So what do you want me to tell them? 2 peas in a pod on a wave, housed on delivery and death, given help when the pod washes up on the beach in waves. You know, like the whales that were found in a pod. Pods, again, are whales and porpoises, and ships are also pods. 2 use hail for poise and grace. In the she, rain. And again, this energy of poop and pee, and spoon and scoop being the key, the pooper scooper, right? To scoop up the poop. And then again, this was coming through again, the symbol here of coming together, but then the plus sign as well with the energies in the vortex here of the Taurus. And then again, the energy of the 144 plus, which is Christ. CH is horsepower of 144. And then the RIST is the cross. So that's why it's 144 plus is literally Christ. And it's 1111 with the bow and arrow going through it. All right, it's a really cool visual. And the scribe was coming up here as SC of Sophia Christos tribe. Instead of tribe, scribe is the Sophia Christos tribe instead of the Christos Sophia tribe. And then again, the sine wave and cosigning. That could be literally somebody cosigning. With eyelashes and whiskers to snare and trap, signing the rib to E, the chariot rib to E. Again, it's like Adam giving his rib to Eve. The writer. Two creators are urgently it, like you're it in playing tag, or IT, writing code. And your it comes up again today. So make sure you watch this video to the end, even if you can't do it in one sitting. Make sure you get to the end because everything comes around and the messages really start intensifying towards the middle of the read usually, and then get wrapped up at the end of my reads. So in the beginning, it might be a little bit slow getting started with all the pieces. So don't give up on it. All right, so Hilarion had also come up your last video and was coming up again here, and Crete. And again, don't forget to check in on my Instagram messages. I'm trying to post them all on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. They usually have all the full messages. And then on my YouTube, those posts, they're just really the picture because there's no room to put the whole post in the text lines. So yeah, check them out because a lot of my messages I will, if they're really intense and condensed, I want to say, or concise, I'll put them on Instagram, but I'll review them here as well. Just let me check here. Orphan Annie was coming up too. And again, Karmic was coming up as Car and Mike. There's that Archangel Michael reference. And the Orphan Annie, the Good Ship Lollipop, the Shirley Temple, it was coming up as Shur LY, which is light year. And the Temple, which today was coming up as the Temperature, hot, and PLE is pull. So the push and pull of the father and mother pull. Under the 19 of luck is the 32 transformation with the Queen of Swords and the 6 of Cups orphan, the 6 of Wands in hilarious transformation, the 2 of Hearts, and like Alice in Wonderland, it was coming up here, like the Queen of Swords is usually an air sign, right? But in Alice in Wonderland, it's the Queen of Hearts, but she's been hurt, right? She goes around chopping off everybody's heads, or threatening to anyway. Gardening with soul ties. 2 of Hearts. Gardening with soul ties. The orphan kids or pets to bring good news. To rebuild bridges. A lucky break for orphan in karmic relationship warmed by the sun or suns. The Fool Beaver and the Hermit's Heart. And a lot of the vulnerable ones, the children and the animals, have been coming up to make sure you send out energy to protect them. Like I said, I've been taking care of some neighborhood cats who don't seem to be well fed. I think the one is supposed to belong to my neighbor, but there's 2 kittens and they just let the kittens roam wild. And the mother looks wild too because I've held her at this point and she's got some dents in her. And so she gives Teddy, my dog, a hard time. But the kittens are pretty good around Teddy. But I've been feeding them. And then yesterday, a squirrel, the cats probably attacked the squirrel. And so Jen, my daughter, and I took the squirrel to the county. There's a county wildlife rescue, but it's not paid for by the state or anything like that. It's all donations. But we took the squirrel up. We're waiting to hear how the squirrel's doing. It was very sad to see the squirrel because initially he was up on his front paws and I saw a little bit of blood on the driveway. And it must have been the 3 cats because that's where they hang out all the time. And then while my daughter and I were trying to assess the situation with the squirrel, his little forearms literally collapsed and his head was on the ground, and it was like, looked like he was praying. It was so sad. But he was okay for the whole ride. We drove 45 minutes to take him. And so we're waiting to hear. But he had maggots, apparently, when we got there, they told us. So we'll have to see. But anyway, there's been a lot of that energy about making sure to send love and protection out to them. Archangel Felier was coming up, along with Archangel Michael to protect them, and the unicorns to enlighten them. That was coming up on one of the cards. Okay, so next one. Okay, so this is the first one I have the pictures of. Ascension, past life, yeah. So we have this, most of my messages of the day are from these decks because they've been working really well together. We have the Ascension deck, the past life deck, the medicine deck, and then the Fortunes Oracle. So this one, these are the cards pulled. These are all underlying energies in this pull, just so you know, okay? So this is the first one. And usually I'm just doing a card of the day, so I'll just be pulling one card for each deck, but I'll go back into the underlying energy for more of a story. All right, so interesting, because I got Archangel Michael the day before, and then on the 25th, I was dreaming about a Michelle I used to know, but Michelle's also my daughter's middle name. Interesting, right? Michael and Michelle. So the masculine and feminine protectors. Yeah, and then some stuff was coming up in dream. This week I was remembering a lot of dreams when I was waking up in the morning, which I don't normally do. All right, so this read was done on the 25th, 11:06, 11:07, 11:07, and 11:08 are the 4 decks. The energy of 9D Venus with Mother Mary and the unicorns, to breathe in that energy. So they're trying to get us to be able to take in that 9D energy, because it's a very high vibrational energy from Venus, calling in Mother Mary and the unicorns to help you breathe it in. To open to the healing and blue light of the Pleiades, along with their animals, the sheep, the pandas, and the pigs, as well, very healing energies. And then 9/16 was coming up in the cards, the number 9 and the number 16. So September 16th was coming up. So I looked back at the 16th. And that's when I had actually brought up Michael to my daughter that day. That was funny. Gene expression was coming up here with this. My pin was coming up, the safety pin, which is an example of the pod. The safety pin top is the housing, with the back of the pin is the masculine and the housing. And the 2 circles below are the masculine and feminine. 1 circle is attached to the back and 1 circle is attached to the front. There's the O, and then the D is the feminine O, with the point that pops out, and then the open pin collects from the sun. It creates a vacuum, closing the pin, and then when the masculine uses up the vacuum, then her side falls open again to collect again. Again, the 2 peas in the pod. So it's the same reference as the 2 peas in a pod, the 698 pod with the 7 key. It's just the pin was also a technical example they were showing me in the very beginning of my journey. And here it was coming up as the poo bridge. So there's poop coming up again, which the word shit came up today. So there's definitely a lot of stuff about getting rid of your crap. The poo bridge here was coming up as the whispering bench. And again, the poo pod, Winnie the Pooh had come up at some point. I'm not sure where. But the genie, right? So Jenna was coming up as genie, right? To bring me to the gene word, Gene, as opposed to the spelling of genie. And genie is also genitals, right? The expression of the I am a genie, or imagination. The gen at the tiger lioness connection, which is the tiger of the and the lioness of the S. So the right, of the masculine, and the S of the sensuality of the feminine. Where R and S together is to awaken in Egyptian. And it's also, I think of the rose first when I see R and S. It also means Reja, which is box, and the right side, relationship. And so I noticed too, if like Jenna might be watching TV in her room and I'll be doing my messages, and I might, as soon as I write something, I'll hear a person say it on TV, and that's constantly happening now. Not just once in a while, it's happening all the time. Ruby and Sapphire comes up with RNS, research ship, state of Brazil, and hospital in Indonesia. The genie in the bottle, GENE, trapped, needing to express, with RS being the R ions, to laugh, and LS the L ions, which is the lyra, and to link. And of course, L ions is also lions. So we have lions and Ryans for RS and LS. Ryans to laugh, and lions is the lyra instrument, and to link, lies down, associates, thickens, ties up, and connects, where the Ryans just laugh. Right, the of the tigers, of the little boys, you know, like stomping in the clouds on their avatars and laughing all the way. So R is also rise and rose, which is, and both of them have two praise in them, right? So R is rise and rose, L is lies and lows, which is lose. They each mean to praise in their own way, but rose is also a round nozzle or hose. There's a pink reference there, as well as erotic blue and purple, the base of the ceiling fan. To redden, flower, or butterfly also come up under rose, of course, because it's a name for many things. And then LISE means stream, to read, also to knit, or a knit, and lysis, which means destruction of cells. The high school gym came up here as well, with worn out, threadbare, and ragged or tattered, where R rises and L streams, reads, knits, and lysis, or destroys cells. The R rose, praises and blushes. The left loses and praises, but listens and hears. And that was at 11:45, which is the time of my birth. I was born like 11:44:45. At 1:31, again, because that was coming up several times this past week. It might have been on my last video I did for you. PR of 2P's house, and then open house of B, which B is to be, but also the number 13 is not to be. Sealed and opened at the same time. So again, that energy of 2P's in the pods with an open house now, because once you're corded and sealed, then you can open up to others, as there's now a squirrel in my tree looking right at me from the branch. He's so cute. He popped his head out to look at me as soon as I started talking about him. That's so funny. He's rustling the branch all over the place, making a fuss. Okay, so the sine wave, so then sign, sealed, and delivered was coming up, as the sign is the sine wave. The sealed is the circle, which is not really a circle, it's a spiral. And then delivered comes up as what I showed you with the 11 and the arrow, the bow and arrow, like a suspended bridge, a suspended animation, a portal. Signed, sealed, delivered, and then I'm yours was coming up as IMURS. And Lemuria was coming up there, right? Because I, Mur, S, Mur is C. And then ICS means X, which is number 24. ICS, and which means ICS is X. And also I, Christos Sophia, comes up with that, or one Christos Sophia. And I'm yours is also the energy of the R's and the S's again, right? I am you, the R's and the S's. The 144 horsepower of Christ, CH, and RIST, which is the cross or plus sign. The 144,000 there, I'm yours. I am you, R's and S's. I seize the day. knocked for a loop or spin, the infinite bidirectional spin, and the apple tree with canopy, howling. Or is it bowing? I think it's bowing, but howling comes up today too. So the bowing of the canopy, right? The arch. The apple, and then the torus comes up. From the side is the apple, from the top is the donut. And again, referencing that tunnel that I just showed you in suspended animation, like a stent, an open tube, like the Chinese tube that you stick your fingers in, then you can't get out the more you try. Bidirectional seated twins, two peas in a pod, and the singularity. Where then the two apple cheeks were coming up as the canopy of the tree, which I've not gotten that reference before, because that's the feminine shape, right? And then the trunk is the rise of the masculine. And then they were giving me the definition around the base of the tree as well. Loose, slack, loosen to draw straws. And then rose of the base of the ceiling fan was coming up, where the lose remembers the feminine, listens and hears and becomes famous. And that's interesting because fame came up today on my Instagram post. And then rose is the base of the ceiling fan, who blushes when they're complimented or commended. So then strong water and royal water come up again. This came up with the alchemy symbols were coming up strong this week. And the strong water is the water that melts silver, whereas the royal water melts gold. And they reference Mercury and Venus, which is the hermaphrodite, which is Hermes and Aphrodite. And hermaphrodite was also coming up as Herma, infinitely wise. And then Phrodite, which is to prepare or make ready, to dictate, impose, command, to recite, to say, tell, speak, mean, to announce the wedding of. And then tea and dishing tea was coming up. To prepare, commend, and tend her mother's practical wisdom. Hermit of her mother's circles the human embodiment by source to make ready. Right? So the hermit or her mother circles around the human, according to source, to make ready for the announcement of the wedding of Mercury and Venus, which I posted that on Instagram. The inner child S, the leak that wants to explode, the river dam. And then Amsterdam Island came up as well, which is that one equal distance from Antarctica, Africa, and then India. It's a volcano island. And so Amsterdam was being broken down as I am stir, which is the spinning at the dam. The island am stirred up at divine AM. The AM star, remember this is on 25th, so we had the big storms come in, right? AM star, D apostrophe AM, or dam, or of AM, shoulder to throne of Dame, the queen of chess. Notre Dame, Our Lady, queen, home or house, lady of the lake, who's about to blow. So there's that energy of Amsterdam Isle. Mad as hell and can't take it anymore. Urgent I am, where the path calls for dam. And again, it's not just the dam here or stopping things up, but like screaming when you need to. So that'll be coming up when I get to today's message. Urgent I am path calls for dam, which dam is the DA of the dad and the AM of the ma reversed as one, to control the sun. And then Alcatraz was coming up as well, and Amsterdam Isle. And there was another Alca something that came up in South America or Mexico. I can't remember where it was. All bridge at Re Z, which is the sleeping N, which is the Christed. 144 cross to ED, temple divine. The sleeping N is the Z, right? The Z, they're sleeping. The rolling stone, heaven on earth, Terran, and it came up as Terran, not Terra, but Terran, and then Joya, which is Gaia, right? Joy and gay, same thing. Joya, Gaia. Mother wields her sword as the Lady of the Lake, which she came up again today. And the earth's is Ea's earth, the sun. and the infinite ear. Tehran was coming up as the blade and the bed of water. So again, the sword, the lady with the sword in the lake. The bed of running water, and the flood, as family tree said and ran, as Gaia Joya. When you put the three together, they were coming up like this in a vertical way. So you see the EIG is also the Euro-India Gateway, which is a cable system from UK to India and Africa and I forget where else. But then you see it comes up this way too when you use Joya instead of Gaia. It comes up as this energy of T to J, but then it just looks like EJ. So the energy of the Euro-India Gateway, or little t leap, ET leap, the little t leaps to the big T temple as big T anchors them in and grounds them to mother. So again, they get grounded, they get punished. They have to stay with mother. So Iya is grounded. Dad says, don't look at me. It's funny how they were bringing it up there. So Iya and Sophia are coming up very much linked all the time as the mother and son, and there's this big connection between the mother and son on earth, right? Because the father energy is right, the finger that comes in from above. So the connection between the twins is coming up as mother and son. So then the EIG is the Euro-India Gateway, the cable system, the submarine communication cable system that connects UK, Portugal, Gibraltar, Monaco, France, Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Djibouti, Oman, United Arab Emirates, and India, about 15,000 kilometers long and upgraded in 2015 and 2020. It was initially 3.84 terabits per second. Oh, here it is. It was built by Alcatel. The company here is Alcatel-Lucent. So it was bringing up Alcatraz and Lucy again, which Lucy just came up. When I tried to do a meditation for you guys this morning, I had just gotten a big download this morning, so I really didn't need to do the meditation for you because that was coming through in that message that came up this morning. But I was just getting my Aunt Lucy with me as a baby because my uncle's not been doing well. And so she was coming up, and Lucy came up in the messages as well. Not my aunt, but the word Lucy. So built by Alcatel-Lucent is the company, and TE Subcom, which was Tyco, went live in 2011, and by 2020 had added up to 24.3 terabits with spectral efficiency 52% more, and now can transport up to 400 gigabytes per wavelength. On March 13th, EIG cable was cut near Egypt, and a few days later, the I-ME-WE and SEA-CME-WE cable was also cut near Egypt and was supposedly done by divers. And then coming up from wikipedia.org, on 2/18, the Sunday Times reported that the infrastructure for the UK landing site of the Apollo GLO-1 and Europa-India Gateway cables had been found almost entirely unprotected. The reporter was able to reach the premises without being challenged and found the door to the generator room unlocked and left ajar. Vodafone, who managed the facilities, said he had not reached critical equipment and would not have been able to interrupt the operation of the facility. So there's, something hokey going on there. And I just wonder too, if there's cable systems, they must have tunnels all over the place along with that, if they put that much money into it. Right? You have to get down there to put the cables. So I-ME-WE and then SEA-ME-WE was coming. There was SEA-ME-WE 3 and 4. So there's a 3 of the Empress, the 4 of the Emperor, which is also the plus sign, right? The horizontal and the vertical pillars. And then EU-India Global Gateway Conference also came up here. And connecting partnerships with Japan in 2020 and India in 2021. So those were just coming up from other headings that came up. On September 16th, again, Venus with the animals and the cosmic heart of Venus and the Pleiades, right, that came up with number 16, 916, and the Hermit's heart and the tower was coming up as Pleiades and over again this week as a radio tower to transmit into us. the high priestess or higher self and the hermit broadcast from the Pleiades tower. And again, Elena Danaan connects directly with Thor Han, a Pleiadian. So also LT was coming up as light language. Celtic, Elena is French, but she lives in Ireland. So Celtic was coming up here too, which Celtic is also LT between parentheses, and LT means to chase. Neanderthal, scribe, and Neanderthal also comes up as Ned, N-E-D, and then LT, which is LT in Celtic. So you have light in the middle of Celtic inside parentheses in light language. Christed or Christ to Ed, Ea de Earth et al. So that's Neanderthal. And then Egypt was coming up as eggy house tree, child branching out, tree house or family tree. Right? So branching off from the family tree. Also, LT means wives of brothers, but it also can reference polygamy. So that could be coming up as well. And also is getting the upside down Y as the pyramidal stream. The upside down Y is the pyramidal stream from the Pleiades to the pyramid. Okay, got that? The Y represents that when it's upside down. It's not just the pyramid, but the pyramid and then the stream to the Pleiades. Not Sirius, to the Pleiades here. The temple of God at the Y in the road, housing tree, where Egypt is EG and YPTU, to raise, lift, and announce. To harrow, real, oak tree, I, egg, ego, leg, and God. We're all coming up. So the feminine and masculine ego is coming up there. Not ego or ega, but eggy, the Y in the road, to lift you up. The temple, gay or happy, to raise the ego, ega, oak, God, I, reality, and farming coming up here, which farm has come up for the masculine as the father's arm. The cosmic heart and Venus intends and scribes. Pleiades tower delivers to the pyramid. The 90 Mother Mary. So here's this Venus it's like Venus dictating to the Pleiades to transcribe and then send to Earth. Okay, so it's like they're transmuting the energies so it can be stepped down to us so that we can handle that 90 Mother Mary and unicorn energy. So hermaphrodite is Mother's wise heart broadcasting via the Pleiades to announce the wedding of Venus and Mercury. Mary is Mary, and unicorn has one horn, which is like an announcement. The Pleiades are pleading their case in hieroglyphics, the Egyptian writer, of women married to brothers, or sisters and brothers, and high priestess to Hierophant. And it was coming up as the writer of light, or light language. The underlying energies here was the blank card, and then it was after the 23 opossum. And I was also getting the kitten that was hanging out in the tree, the bush branch that day. The 45 of the blue heron, the 17 of the mountain lion, the mother cat and her daughter apparently, and drawing a blank. As the King of Wands grieves the star, as she roars, the lioness, as the lioness, a laugh that comes out in whale sounds. And I described this too. When I was at Vitality and I was channeling the Divine Mother, and I described it as being, wanted to laugh because of the joy I was feeling. And it's 4:20 on the clock right now. My daughter just got home, so sorry if Teddy starts making a little bit of noise. But 4:20 is also the room and time my son was born, so he's coming up as well. So I had referenced that. Hi, sweetie. I had referenced that when I was at Vitality, I was channeling the Divine Mother, that I would go to laugh and it would come out as more light language, which I had never channeled before. And so here it's coming up again as the lioness with a laugh that comes out in whale sounds or wailing in light language. Tail up, Ace of Cups, with mother's love underwater or sonar, different than radio air. All right, so now we have two ways of communicating, right? We have the Pleiades coming into the pyramid, and then this light language that comes through water, right, through the whale sounds. the submarine communication, so to speak, which came up as the cable company, the Euro-India Gateway, the holy grail of mother's womb and ocean, where the hermaphrodite is born. After the 46 raccoon and the 52 black panther, the one eagle is the 6 of cups, Rocky, sees the queen of swords peering through the leaves, as number 1 eagle, or Ia's glee, standing guard so graciously. Remember, Ia is, Elena is also connected to Ia. So Ia is standing guard so graciously, right, after Enlil had caused all the wounding, right, from Atlantis, until the King of Wands grieves and the lion star roars. And it's so funny because today is all about the magician and the sun today, which are both ones, and the star, right? The Leo energy was coming up. The sun and the one of the magician. So until the King of Wands grieves and the lion star roars, then I couldn't think of the word and I didn't write it down. Then something is nothing. Until the King of Wands grieves and the lion star roars. Right, because we had the lions and the Ryans. Oh, I was getting Orion. Look at that. The lions and the Ryans. I didn't get that before. Right, so the lions of Sirius, right? And then the Orions is the Ryans. Then nothing. Then a whale appears under the star suddenly, Egyptian, Ace of Cups and Holy Grail love. Then a whale appears under the star in sudden Egyptian Ace of Cups style, which is the Holy Grail love. A storybook ending. As the 30 is the sun and 21 is the moon here, after the 24 Queen of Wands, and the 24 is the Queen of Wands, patience in the hourglass of the infinity, dancing number 8 as the dragonfly, 2 as 1, and a beautiful mind, the 3 to beware that you can't fool Mother Nature, as number 9 is the eagle soaring over the range, the phased array, and that's the hermit energy, as the 35 wounded warrior surrenders to wish and heart activation, like E.T. The heart squared, an open book, all aglow, and I was just getting argon, which was coming up today again, and the announcement of marriage transitions with goals of liquid gold or royal water of youth and strong water of power and wisdom. The 19 of the lucky sun with 4 heart chambers, which the heartbeat was coming up today as well. The 30 of home and the sun, flower, and union. With daughter moon escorted by earth stars, mother's messengers, signed, sealed, delivered. I am yours. I'm yours. I am you, the of the tiger and the S of Sophia, or tigers and lionesses. ICS, which equals X, the 24th pair. I, Christos Sophia, leap, arc, the double arch and sea waves, the twin bridges. What goes around comes around, one way or another. I can see. That was coming up as the message. It was coming up as like the masculine, right? So someone who's in a negative place or around negative people or Orion people, I can see now. I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. And rain came up earlier in the message. So ICO is ICS, the inner child's seal, right? Because the O isn't really a circle that's closed. It's a spiral that you can pull apart like an S. There's no enclosures. And the forehead was also coming up, the seal of the forehead. So the underlying at 5:55, the underlying energy of 41 of the whale and 10 of the turtle was coming up. After the bear, the 7 skunk, 25 fox, 6 snake, 21 owl, and the 41 whale. So this energy of a teddy bear, the skunk and the fox looking at the food. It was like I was getting this energy of that the food I was leaving out for the cats was being eyed by all of the animals in the forest, so to speak. The mother whale in their tail and the slowpoke behind them, the Hierophant chariot and the Knight of Wands lovers around the world with the Ace of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, committed to travel, the Knight of Wands lovers world, the Holy Grail destined, the turtle slow to the nest. The Antelope 37 and the 29 Badger came up with the King of Cups badgering, an aggressive gift to present or a present or badge of honor, your divine masculine. The King of Wands 23 playing possum or playing dead, as the number 1 eagle protects with a bird's eye view when bored walking away and within watching the Page of Wands squirrels collecting nuts. And this was before I dealt with the squirrel yesterday. The 14 of the dog and Sagittarius patient angel giving space to the Queen of Wands crow to see her shadow. The 17 of the mountain lion, 20 of the mouse, and this was at 613, the lovers and the death card. The 46 of raccoon, the 19 of buffalo, the 47 of the prairie dog. The energy of the cat calling to the mouse, the kitten in the bush or branch as the 46 raccoon sees the 19 buffalo coming. Or the 6 of cups daughter sees the sun who gets the squirrel's attention too, even from being focused on collecting nuts, where the squirrels are so, nobody can distract them because they're so busy collecting their nuts. But this is the daughter. The daughter gets son, who gets the squirrel's attention too. My son visited this past weekend. As the King of Cups badger, and again your divine masculine was coming up here, as the King of Wands. It's like the King of Cups badgering the King of Wands. And again, one playing dead and the eagle-eyed with, as we're watching, the 48, which is the 8 of Cups of walking away and within, and getting bored watching what they're doing, the energy of the squirrel. And again, it's like all the animals gathering around for the masculine's arrival. Okay, so the animals are all gathering around to protect the union, so to speak. Oh, that's so funny. And I was listening to Sam after that, and the first thing he talked about was buckling up. There's a UFO from Orion that he was talking about, but just saying, it's because it's just coming up as I just talked about Orion. I didn't even make the connection when I wrote it. And then I was reminded of adamantine, which came up from Elena's book that I opened to one day for you guys, which is the crystal that she would use to connect to the ship. And that's adamantine is like adamant, right? That strength. And this is the shape of the molecule of adamantine. And it looks like, an ice cream cone. And again, when it's upside down, it looks like a pyramid or a ship, but again, that crystallized energy. It's 2 hexagons and then like a kite energy at the bottom. The Om energy, the primordial sound of the universe, which came up on the next page. It's the sum of all energies. And again, that was coming up from Sam's video. The Logos aligns you with oneness. So, all right. Oh, this was a really weird. I had the weirdest dream. Heidi Klum had gotten her face done, but it made her look awful. It was like this huge mouth across her face. And it wasn't like her mouth. It was more like Sophia Loren's mouth, because she had big lips. But it was like huge, like a clown's face. And in my dream, I'm trying to figure out why she did that to herself. Yeah, there was other weird stuff that was coming up in that dream. It was really weird. And I had to, it was like, I ended up in a meeting room in a hotel. Because this was at a hotel, and I was with my daughter, and other stuff was coming up there. But then I had to go into this table, into a meeting room. It was like I had to make a deal. But now Heidi wasn't Heidi. Now this was a Hispanic man. And I have to like play them, saying that if you tell me your name and who you are, I'll let you leave. It was really weird. But if that means anything to any of you, let me know in the comments. So the next message here is on the 26th. And this is the medicine deck, the ascension deck, the past life deck, and the fortune deck. Okay, so here's this next one. So same thing. Yeah, these are the card pulled out, and these are all underlying energies over here. Okay. So these were pulled on the 26th from 303 to 308, 303, 306, 307, and 308. We have the underlying energy of the mountain lion. Number 17 is the mountain lion roars, and the 15 of the wolf howling. And again, for me, in my circumstance, I was getting the mama cat and then versus teddy bear, because she's always, they are on opposite sides of the fence, right? So it sounds such a good metaphor and example. And they're fine on two sides of the fence, and the kittens never like hiss at him, but she does, and she's been through the ringer. But the kittens are pretty good with him, but they still hide. They won't even let me pet them, but she lets me pet her. But she won't be nice to Teddy, even though she'll eat in front of him. If he tries to get closer because he wants to get to know them, she hisses at him, and she will attack him, because they have attacked him when I went out for a walk, last year. But that energy was coming up, right? The two sides of the fence and how to make peace. And we have then the 16 of the Pleiades and the 12 chakra system came up, and then the underlying energy of Egypt with vows, and then the underlying energy of the moon, 21, with 4 of birth. The star mountain lion roars, healing cat on the hill, as shadow wolf howls in longing, wondering where they are, as her babies hide on the bush branches, and the king of wands who likes to climb, number 23, and then the 20 of the mousy one who makes snap judgments. Healing cat tempted by devil dog as they harmonize. And we had Aries, strong Aquarius, I think there was double Aquarius, and Capricorn here. As the numbers that were coming up were 232, 171, and then 23, 20, 17, 16, and 6 were coming up. New Hope, 15, the number 15, which is the devil. Lovers, which is the light side of the devil card. And then the wolf were coming up there. The sudden healing from the Pleiades. The star tower of communication. And then I was looking up the conjunctions and oppositions that were coming up with Mercury and Venus. The sun conjuncts Mercury today. And then there's a lot of oppositions going on, but the sun conjuncts Mercury on December 6th, and then the next conjunction isn't till 12/7, which Venus conjuncts Pluto. So that's all that was going on with Mercury and Venus, but there's a lot of oppositions of them and other planets, more so than the conjunctions. So, and that's through, let's see, October, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, I'm sorry. October is 2 oppositions. November is 3 oppositions. And then December, 3 oppositions as well. So October 2nd was coming up, star formation. October 24th came up, Chinese food, pyramid, and chopsticks were coming up. And housing falling apart. Helicopter or plane was coming over at that time too at 10:28:24, and the 5-pointed star was coming up with the X, and then October 31st was coming up as chaotic. The 28th, 29th, and 30th, those numbers have been coming up a lot. So there's something about that time period. It looked like the 29th was most structured. And again, these shapes were coming up as kite and right angles. Underlying a supernova event. And that's interesting too, because I was guided to, I was looking up argon, and it brought me to a page that talked about, the beginning of the world and the Big Bang and what happens actually with the elements. So that was very interesting. I haven't had a chance to sit down and really read it, but I want to. Underlying supernova event here. The star and the tower, Egypt and the moon, the star power of Pleiades and Thorhan and the radio tower to Egypt and Elena, and the pyramid escorting both Earth and moon, at least 2 sisters or 2 sons and 1 daughter. The double diamond mountain lion event on 1716 and 171 was coming up as well, and Egypt 21. The 171 is the 15 and wolf. The coincidence, Shekinah, Nora, finished, single, liquids, Marco, and Aaron came up. And then the 9 of the cosmic heart and the 16 of the Pleiades again. And then Mother Mary, unicorns, and Venus again. The healers of the Pleiades, the blue light, the sheep, panda, and pigs. The Venus along with Earth and Moon and Egypt. 916 again, and then Michelle Mabel, and Jean expression, imagination, of lions and Ryans, of lies and lose and rise and rose, the pin pod and the Pooh bridge, Winnie the Pooh and Panda Bear, sign, seal, deliver, I'm yours. And the word, instead of IMURS, it was coming up as IMMURE, which means to cloister, confine, bury in a wall, or enclose into a wall, to capture an impurity. To capture an impurity, sign, seal, deliver, I'm yours. It's also references a mural, to wall, to fortify or lay bricks. And sign is to sense and projection and point and water and direction and perception. Number 2, in the body. So a lot of things besides sine wave or mathematics, right? SIN is also song and sun without and dryness. Grave, scene, symbol, emblem, opinion, and mood. To serve, revere, domesticated animal or plant. To give a girl away in marriage. Oh, that's so weird because another word came up for that today as well. To give a girl away in marriage. To guide, escort, or keep company. To demand, bury in soil. To lie hidden and remain secret. To sneeze, string things together or piece together, crack a nut. The 8th of 10 heavenly stems. And then the Knights of the Round Table were coming up, and the 12 Apostles, and Sirius, as Sir Eos, and Eos is Jesus. The 2 ESEAL. So I was going through sign, seal, deliver, I'm yours, and we went through the sign, and then the seal, sign, ESEAL of liver, which means one who lives. I am fortified, a mural. 2S and Ea, ES and EA. So the energy of Adam and Eve, so to speak. And 90 degrees of one who lives. The lambda or lambda father square, the plus sign of the horizontal and the vertical pillar. It only takes an 1/8 to shift and dance, right? The plus sign, if it goes a quarter, it's still a plus sign, but if it goes an 1/8, it's now the X to dance, the chromosome. And then 0.125 was coming up as the 1/8 a turn. where Mercury takes 88 days and Venus takes 225 days to circle. To communicate must be hot and cold without atmospheric pressure. To love must be hot all the time like Venus, or lots of atmosphere, of Adam, where it's Sophia's place here, of sign and fear, and Cape Fear was coming up. And atmosphere was coming up as Adam, O, Sophia's here. The Christ, O Sophia, completely exposed, Cape Fear, right, where you're completely exposed. Like Sophia, sign and salt of the earth, sudden event is a square, a right angle, or quarter, 0.25 or 90 degrees, 4 parts. The D of the spinning planet, and EL or L, IV infinitely. It doesn't turn on a dime, but a quarter. Back and tail or tight end. If you take immature, where it's at, because at's in the middle of immature, you get a mural, brickwork, fortification within a wall, protection, a home, a place to lay down, to die, to give away in marriage, an energy seal of the sine wave, the O, and then the portal of signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. So again, it's taking you into signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours, the 2 P's in a pod. Independent, and then brought together, let no man put us under, by source. And Amiri is also the vacuum cleaner, the fan, one who uses the vacuum and the other to collect the sun's rays, like I described in my safety pin. The sun creates the vacuum between her and him. She receives, and you know it sounds like a football game, right? He takes to give it back to her in the end, creating a push and pull, projecting wave and creating a vacuum to create emptiness, a need to fill, delivering murals and houses and manifesting physical creation. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Contracting to expand, slowing your roll, the stone, by stretching your coil, the momentum and impetus to spring back with a vengeance. To advent you are. A venerable gene seal. Advent. And then today ventilation comes into this. So advent is the second coming, but they're saying also add ventilation. E, you are. Creation of giant humanoid talking tree. Egypt is EGYPT, one equal and congruent to God, at the Y in the road, housing tree, top shaman. As pyramids are receivers, Sophia's Ha man. To Pleiad, or from Pleiades radio waves, or to their waves, banding out into and across the earth, vowing to ground the lost 5 chakras by escorting earth, moon, and getting the lamb to leap to dad. The giant humanoid talking tree you are, I'm yours. I, Mu, as in Lemuria, I, Mu, and S's. The daughters and sisters vow to get the father and son to get along and rebirth. Like I said, the 12 apostles and then the 12 knights of the round table were coming up, turning Y on its ear, knocked for a loop, as cats and dogs and ones and nines suddenly merge, as cat cries, dog howls, and sudden magic of sisters and 12 chakras. The Egyptian vows, create our double us, mother and daughter, father and son, as we have only just begun. The shadow 12 who made vows to the emperor's sons, the emperor's new clothes, to take care of mother, daughter, and baby son. Yeah, so really cool energies here. So and 2 on the 26th, I was out walking Teddy, and we see deer all the time, but I never see bucks. You know, it's rare that you see one with antlers. But Teddy and I ran into 2 bucks with their antlers and they were just peeking their heads out of the woods. But we were very close to them and they're just staring at us and we're staring back at them and I'm talking to them, sending them lots of love. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe Teddy shouldn't be here because I don't know what they might do to Teddy if he got any closer. So we walked across the street. But it was so exciting to see them. So there's the divine masculines peeking out of the woods. 2 of them. 2 bucks. Okay. So now we have, let me get my next message. I believe it's this one. This is the medicine deck, the ascension deck, the past life deck, and the fortune's oracle. Yeah, this is the right one. Okay, so this is the next one. So again, this is the cards pulled out, and these are all the underlying energies, which I'll be describing in depth, those. So if you can't see them fully, that's okay. All right. All right, this is the 27th. I mean, the underlying energy, this is 11, 32, 33, 33, and 34. We the underlying energy of the elephant, and then the first card out was the 49 salmon. The underlying energy of 12 chakras, and the first card out, the 29, the intergalactic council, and the 12 great masters. Notice the 12 there. It's all about the 12s. The underlying energy of the vows, and the first card out was galactic. And then the underlying energy of number 4 and birth, and the first card out, the 29, again, with the star, and I was getting burst, so starburst, and again, the supernova event. And again, the 3 dark nights could reference a supernova event that happened already that hasn't reached Earth yet. So again, people have talked about Betelgeuse, and I don't know if I talked about Betelgeuse, but there was one, I think it was something other than Betelgeuse because they knew about Betelgeuse, but I had found another one, and I think it had to do with Altar. It's between Betelgeuse and Sirius, I think it was, but I forget if that's the name. But anyway, coming from that general area, which is the Orion area. So the underlying energy of Sophia, the 20 of the mouse, 1 of the eagle, 14 dog, 17 mountain lion, and then the blank card. Because this deck has some blank cards that you can fill in with animals that aren't in the deck that resonate with you. The 52 of the black panther and the elephant on top, the kitten afraid on the branch, the eagle that protects the angelic dog, and the healing mountain cat, or the mama, with space for the queen of swords, black panther. Sophia and the eagle, again, E is glee, and Sophia, the wisdom of Ea. The space and the elephant to breathe between the main cat and kittens, and the angel dog Teddy behind the plants, as Sophia with space for dancing with the hawks and cats and dog, with space to catch her breath. The Queen of Swords, a breath of fresh air. As the number 1 comes up here, the first card is the 49 of the salmon who always returns home, and the wisdom and the inner knowing of swimming upstream, but always returning home in the end. The hawks, dogs, and cats, oh my, under Sophia's canopy. Branches, hills, leaves, and wide open spaces where the bucks roam. Under Sophia's watchful eagle's eye, right, the mother and son, of 360 degrees, she sees everything. A sense of purpose, not thwarted by external forces, coming full circle and finishing what they started. Trust your gut and knowing, avoiding those with hidden agendas. Are you ebbing or flowing? That benefits forward movement and growth. Go back to the beginning and retrace your path to this point. Oh, that's so funny because I was guided back to my journal from the beginning yesterday. I think it was yesterday, if not the day before. Go back to the beginning and retrace your path to this point. See an opportunity in all situations. Be willing to listen to others and still voice within. Honor your path, embracing all lessons, each bend in the river a new adventure. Don't be reckless, ignoring wisdom or seeking approval of others. Reclaim your authority. Circling back creates momentum to move higher again. The moon 11 again, so that's that same kind of energy as when I was channeling the Divine Mother. In order to channel higher up, you have to go deeper down. So that's why I was getting that energy of the devil dog coming out in order to then rise higher. So here's that loop around that's describing the same energy. The food, I don't know why I said the food, I was reading the moon. So something about the food and the moon, which is a Cancer thing, right? The moon 11 and 44, El Moria. And again, that's my birth time again coming through. And my soul numbers in 11 and my life lesson numbers are 44. So it's referencing the divine feminine moon and the daughter, the El Moria and the 42 of Lord Kamika, 41 of Serapis Bay. So the 3 wise men were coming up there. 38 of Isis, 9 of the cosmic heart, 16 of the Pleiades, and 1 of the 12 chakras. The energy of the divine feminine, the child energies, the moon child divine feminine, aligning energies with 3 wise men, 44, 42, and 41. So where's Waldo? Number 43, which, oh, that was my son who was arriving that day. The first ray, and then Mercury with 12 strands, and the white liquid silver, and then the 8th ray was coming up with Metatron and Atlantis, and enlightenment of blue. The 4th ray of Atlantis and Metatron and harmony and the Egyptian and the Seraphim and Jesus and Divine Mary, Ma-Ra, Lemuria, High Priestess Atlantis and Mother of Horus. This is all Isis stuff. Be courageous and keep your light bright and your energy pure. The 9 of Hermit and Venus, the cosmic heart. So remember when the Huna prayer has been coming up too, and that's Hermes as well with the Incas. The Hermit and cosmic heart of Venus and the 9D energies of Mother Mary and unicorns to help you connect with this high vibrational energy to share. The 16 of the radio tower of the Pleiades and healing blue light and open heart with sheep, pandas, and pigs who help heal people and the land. Bless them and honor their work on and for our planet. The first card of the 12 chakras, or the number 1 card, asking the unicorns to touch, open, and activate the Earth Star chakra, the base, the sacral, the navel, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, high heart, fourth eye, soul star, and stellar gateways. Ask the angels to sing over you to raise chakras to the 5D frequency and higher. With justice number 11, grounding and integrating number 44, and the 42 of the 2 of Cups, 1-1, and the 41 of the Ace of Cups, a big love, the Holy Grail. 11, 44, 42, 41, and 38, with the Queen of Cups, Hermit, Isis and Mary Magdalene, the cosmic heart feeding communication, Tower of the Pleiades, i.e. the 12 chakra system. And the numbers I just read to you come up as 11, and then 444, which is the angelic realms, and then 241, or to 413, which is the reflection of 314 pi, and then 8, which is infinity also. Virgo and Scorpio and Mercurial magic as the 29 of the present to the Intergalactic Council of 12 to ask But-Yalil to help connect with them. The underlying energy of the unicorn wisdom as authority figure on Atlantis and the pillars fall, with dolphins putting the sparkly hammer down, the gold digamma waves at LA, the angel land, 'tis angels scribing in the pyramids of Egypt, angels translating vows left by the masters, the divine feminine, Mary and unicorn wisdom, the galactic assistants, the gal act of the inner child, and 3 to 12 wise ones as you set your wish of a gift from the stars. 2 gifts, actually. At 1237, which is the Hanging Man and the King of Cups of unconditional love, the 20 of marital proposal, 27 proposal, 26 of the plane, 13 of the gods, goals, 13 of beware, so gods and goals could be coming up there, 3 of beware, 28 the snake, 35 the wish, 7 cracker, 21 moon, and 4 of birth. Sophia's elephant, Lord Kamika, and 12 chakras, with unicorn, dolphin, angel vows, And again, there's all this feminine energy coming up with the unicorns, the dolphins, and the angels, vows. In a wake-up call to passion and purpose, porpoise, of peas and plains and goals of gold. To be, or 13, not to be. Beware of lizards, as Mother Nature is the best shapeshifter of all. Or eagle soars to choose a path, as the Kundalini rises to activate the wounded warriors. To heart squared, an open book, the key in cracking codes and fireworks, as stars escort mother and daughter moon to birth the lambda or lambda father in a leap of faith from the wounded warrior's path to the fool's journey of an open heart and leap of faith. Getting your wish with a gift from Intergalactic Council and those who have come before, which is also B4, or to be or not to be 4, which is the L1 of the lambda leap, pi and its reflection. 314 reflected is the word pi, P-I-E, and 134 reflected is P-E-I, which means boom. And there is your supernova event. Boom, dog, go water, pee, pay, pie, foot to fight, to split, unworthy, dishonorable, from sharing to throw down. And that's funny because WWF has been on Netflix. And then boom, the dog pee, foot fight, split pee, unworthy to go, dishonorable pay. Getting to reflect pi, since before reflected PEI without peace. So now with P seal, PEA seal, PC as in the ocean, L, left at the right angle, or angel with angle of the sea. Left at the right angle with angel of the sea, 2 P's in a pin pod, collecting the sun and vacuuming to create space, like creating space on your phone. Remove the apps that no longer serve the greater good and stuff that can be given away or put away for later. E is glee and LF ant. 2-1 nitro, looking to cut, leaf, channel, furrow. And that can reference a furrowed brow as well, which can be worry. 2 leaf, which is, again, the energy of the elephant, the letter L, F, and then A-N-T. Number 2 and leaf are LF. And then ant means elk and moose. And oath, between. Priest and Minek, which means what goes around comes around. And a guess or sense, to duck. A biting thing, to cut. The leaf is 2 parentheses together, 2 nadis, energy lines, lineages. Take an oath with priest between, sensing when to duck, as biting things tend to cut. With elk and moose, what goes around comes around. The leaf, the pod, the elk and moose, 2 P's, one who shares 2 as one, and one who breaks apart 2 all. So again, the Big Bang is breaking all apart, but they do like bits at a time, right? First, there's this Big Bang, which everything splits apart, and then things that are in groups split down, like the 2s to 1, 2s to 1, 2s to 1. They keep splitting more and more, where now we're doing the opposite. We're going 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1, but it's 1 at a time, right? So then the 1 becomes 4 or 10 or whatever, and then that 1 joins with another 1 that becomes more 1, 1, and 1. 2 as 1, or part of the group whole, where being whole equals just a whole for 2 U's. Sophia's Ia with space to breathe, Sophia's pace. Big and takes up space, or the elephant. 3 wise ones and the 12. 12 strands, 12 chakras, masters, looking for 4, a fourth, like D'Artagnan. 1 for all and all for one, which ALL is 111, which is pi. It's right, because 1s are also arcs. So 111 equals pi. And then all AWL for 1, which all AWL is the whole maker, is 1, 2, 1, right? 2 U's, and then the L looks like a 1. So it's 1 to 1 of like the 2 of cups. 1 for pi, and then 1 to 1, which is the H, PI. Perhaps D'Artagnan, which is Charles de Batz, de Castlemore. Oh, and I keep passing that. Oh, there's a complex of homes on my way, which we had to drive several times to take the squirrel yesterday and up to my brother's house or my nephew's house for a party that we went to this past weekend. Or actually, not their house, but for my sister-in-law. But anyway, we were driving up that way, and we always pass this complex that's called, it's Kara, so the root chakra and the sacral chakra, and then more, so the more people were coming up. I'm here with Charles de Batz and de Castlemore, which is D'Artagnan, Charlie Brown, Batman, of Castle Who Wants More, or Cast of L'Amour. I wasn't getting that before. Right, so L'Amour is L'Amore. But it was going back to the more people as well. Horsepower, our lie, to be our own. Be at man of Cast El More. And then the Trojan horse was coming up, which was the gift to Troy in the battle. And the Moor were the Berbers. The Moorish Science Temple of America came up, as well as from the Mayobites, which are from Morocco. And they added the words Bey, B-E-Y, and E-L to their names. That's a Moor heritage thing. The Moors were Berbers descended from the Stone Age tribes of North Africa. The Mizigan, the A Mizigan, and the I Mizigan, first mentioned in the ancient Egypt writings from about 2000 BCE. The Berber language spread west from the Nile Valley. And then Barbarata came up. And again, the words they used for themselves. K-A-B-Y-L-E-S was one, and then L-E-Q-B-A-Y-E-L, as opposed to being called Berbers, etc. And then the other one was C-H-A-O-U-I-S to I-S-H-A-W-L-Y-E-N. And there's the Ish. Remember I said Ish here, because another Ish words came up. Back as far as 10,000 BC, though, were cave paintings dated to 12 millennium before present. Found in southeast Algeria, rock art in Libya, in the desert, and then, of course, they're based in the Atlas Mountains. Hercules and his army crossed from Iberia to North Africa and were and intermarried there. Okay? Phoenicians of the Fertile Crescent connected to Tyre. That's so funny. I'm thinking of Tyra Banks, and Heidi came up, so all these top models, these tall models, the Amazons are coming up. Right, Tyra Banks? And then there was, I'm just getting that now. I should write that down, the models. Tall Amazons. And then there was a picture of 7500 BC in Turkey, Syria, Iran, and Iraq, which included Göbekli Tepe, because part of Turkey was actually part of that area. The oldest reference to Mesopotamia name was 4 BC regarding the Euphrates and the Tigris, but the section they were showing were actually at the top, ended up at the top of the Euphrates and the Tigris, not at the port. So the energy of the Nine of Cups and the Salmon, the Galactic Council, 3 of Wands, and the Galactic Card, and then the Star, 3 of Wands, rebirthing 12 strands and chakras to return home. Mother Mary, Sophia lineage, and the Masters, Sirs, and Lords, Mothers and Masters of Earth and Intergalactic Council, 2 stars of the galaxy get their wish to return home and merge as one. 2 stars at 217, 2 as 1, 2 as 1 merge, as 4 as 1, and so on. As we break apart 1 cell at a time, so we come together, 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 4 to 1, etc., 8 to 1, 16, 32, etc., in pods. So twins begin the 1-to-1s at 221. And then at 222, all of a sudden, I had to look for Teddy because he was so quiet in the house. I didn't know where he went because he's never quiet that long. And he was just laying so still. It didn't even look like he was breathing. He was just lying on his side. And it was like an Instagram post I saw where a horse who plays dead, and then someone playing possum. So again, it's referencing that again, playing dead. I was laughing. It was so funny. Oh, and that was another reference to vitality when I was channeling Divine Mother. I told you there's a point where I just felt like I died. I wasn't breathing. I was just really still and like lifeless. And I was literally feeling what it felt like to be dead, because you're breathing for hours when you're at vitality, and it's like, and then I'd, gone to the dark energies and then to this grand light energy of the Divine Mother. And my body was just so exhausted. It was very easy to just collapse into that state. It was very interesting, but that stillness. So the numbers that came up during the read here, 241 first was Archangel Michael. So there he is again. And Nu also came up, which is Ia's father. Katrina, Mona Lisa, Natasha, Dimitri, Part, and Tiamat all came up. Then 413 is San Francisco. Hey, and there's Alcatraz with San Francisco. Hey, December 15th, there's the 15. Daddy, a God in the beginning and in the end. Chicago Bulls also came up with 413. 134 was December. Erin, DMT, Mankind, Rod, Doom, Shame, Mood, and Branch. 121 or 1-1 is Mark, Maria. Right, so there's that Mother Mary and Mary energies coming up. Sam also came up. App, Chiefs, Plan, Self, Amon, Mona, Amira, I Am Ra all came up under 121. Flash Gordon also came up in one of the messages I was doing. And that day, this is on the 27th, it was 888s, 77s, 66, and 99s. Flash Gordon and Sam Jones, which cracks me up because in Sex and the City, there's an episode where Samantha met a young guy, Sam Jones, and she kept getting calls about his party. I'm sure you remember that if you watch Sex and the City. So Josh Gordon also came up as Flash Gordon, who was because I don't know if his nickname was Flash, I guess. He's a wide receiver. He was on a lot of different teams because he was getting high, I think. And I think he kept getting in trouble for testing positive. But he was on Cleveland Browns, New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks, Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans, Seattle Sea Dragons. Notice all the words coming up there. Cleveland Browns, I just brought up Charlie Brown. The Patriots in New England. Seattle Seahawks, as the Eagles are coming up. Kansas City Chiefs. So they're referencing shamans there. Tennessee Titans, of course, Titans. And Titans came up again yesterday and today as the TI is source. That's one of the definitions. And then TANS is the Tan Man, the human. So source and human connection. And then the Seattle Sea Dragons, that's the year of the dragon. He was born in Houston and he was Haitian. And he was referenced, I was getting Ice Knight, the water monster, level 4. And then Yu-Gi-Oh came up as well as a trading card game under that. Matthew Thomas Ryan and Maddie. Ice, Atlantis, Atlanta Falcons. I don't know. I wasn't getting where I was trying to get to with the teams, but if that means anything to you guys, let me know. So, the Flash, with the Flash Gordon, the Flash of Light was coming up, so that's important to tell you. And the Divine Justice, the Divine Flash of Light, the Flash of Light being a trademark of ice. And there's Isis coming up as well. Right? She's saying that's my trademark. And then again, Flash of Light trademark, i.e. the Ice Knight or linebacker, defensive end. 32 of CFO, 8 of Cups, and yes, the Divine Justice. Oh, and I'm getting a connection too to WWF because I've been watching the series a little bit about that, and his daughter ends up taking over the company, not the son. He did for a little while, but then he got outed and she got her place again. So it's about the divine feminine rising to her post, her appointed rounds. Okay. Now we have, let's see here. This is the past life deck, the Ascension deck, the medicine deck, and the Fortune's Oracle deck. Okay. So same way, this is the cards pulled, and these are all underlying energies over here, which I will talk about. So this is the 28th. I pulled them at 1221, 1221, 1222, and 1223, the 4 decks. The underlying energy was the baby and the first card of wisdom. And the underlying energy of the dolphins, 23. And then the first card out was animals, number 2. Then the underlying energy of elephant, and the first card out was 37, antelope. And then the underlying energy of 6, chariot, where the first card out was abundance. So the To the Bride was coming up as soon as I started this, and I posted to the Bride, so you might have seen it, with Alexander Hamilton. To the bride, to the bride, to the groom. To the bride and ships coming in, Egyptian vows of the baby, you two. I was just getting the, instead of the genie in a bottle, I was getting baby in a bottle. To the bride and ships coming in, Egyptian vows of the baby, the youth, or you two. So you two's coming up as well. And unicorn of wisdom, where Eggy, V, and baby were all coming up in the letters from the cards, which all are the same thing, right? Because Eggy has to do with creation, and V is creation, and baby is creation. The creation of 2, the ship that came in, that made you wise unicorn. So the underlying energies below the top cards in these decks, for the past life deck was spouse, ships, Egypt, vows, and baby. And then the Ascension deck was 36, Lord Cthulhu, Neptune 19, and Dolphins 23. The medicine deck was your divine feminine, a blank card, 5, bear, and then the elephant, which doesn't have a number because I wrote that in. And then the fortune deck was 32, excuse me. Yeah, below that was 32 transformation, 16 lion, 26 plane, 36 world, and then 6 of the chariot. So the underlying energy of Lord Cthulhu and the wise men, Cthulhu was Saint Francis of Taj Mahal, Shah Jahan, of harmlessness, love, and wisdom, with knowledge, spiritual truths, humility, and inspiration, with the weight of the world, the golden robe, the youth around his wisdom, both teacher and student. The 19 of the sun tap into the Neptune wisdom of Atlantis and Lemuria through your Earth Star chakra and Archangel Sandalphon to assist your divine potential. And potentiality came up as well. The 23 of the King of Wands lion and the weight of the world, dolphins passing on Atlantean and Lemurian wisdom, and aquamarine light of the mighty beings, Anu and Ea, and 2 and 3 of 2 are us, and trident of the trident, 3 D apostrophe ENT, the pod in his fork. So just think about the Taurus is like the apple, and then his trident, and he's holding the apple on his fork. The pod in his fork, which the pod and the fork together become the ark. The number 2 of the high priestess, divine feminine or higher self, the feminine heart, centered animals, to call on Archangel Felier to look after them and Archangel Michael to protect them, and the unicorns to enlighten them. The unicorn that you are. Your divine feminine with space for bare freedom. Hierophant to master the hidden house. The elephant, the big gift of breath, soul, and spirit. The F ant, 2 elk and moose with oath and priest. Believe what goes around comes around. A guess or sense of when to duck, the biting thing to cut. As the 37 King of Cups antelope, and the buck with 2 horns to the unicorn's 1, the antelope of action who runs with grace, who helped you survive to this day with their coat and meat. So thank the antelope for the gift of unconditional love. The 16 of the lion's roar and call, and the 26 of the Page of Wands plane to Fantasy Island, the 36 of the world and the atlas with map of intent, and the 6 of the lover's chariot to take them there. With Scorpio, Leo, and Gemini here, the sudden page of wands drops all to take off and travel with the unicorns. The first card out here is the energy of one for all and all for one, of 5 hands coming together like a wheel, 4 elements becoming the 5, ether, earth, terra, heart, and wraith, to move quickly and easily, swiftly, early in the AM, Godspeed. The freedom 5, the bright light, the ash, the high road, infinite ear, the te-ray, the blade of dirt, thou, and bed of water, or mud, right? You are the mud ray, not just of earth, but of water. He art rat, he, ray thee, infinite ray, the energy temple that's equal and congruent to each other. One is the magic man and the abundance of the empress in a 5-hand spin in opposite directions, like your eyes or the shutters of a camera. Cloaked in arms, those who would protect and raise you up. 5 of the freedom train and 6 of lovers in the lover's spin to take you there. With the 7 key, the gamma boomerang, the 8 of the power in sharing infinitely, with 9, the integrated human being, one with the masters of the hidden house. Mana, Joya, the gift of Gaia, the joy of human connection. Parents and child, father and son, and animals. Your divine feminine with space for hibernating and master of the hidden house. I feel like when she said Mana, Joya, she's trying to come out, but I don't think my vibration's high enough for her to come out. Hibernating with master of the hidden house. B and R, free, with the number 5 in the middle. With elephant, the big gift of breath, soul, and spirit. The LF ant, 2 as 1 tree. The lambda digamma, 21 world of 1 and 2, and ant, which the word ant is 1, 5, and 2 of A, N, and T. And it's 14, 5, and 20/2, but it comes up as the magic masculine, the feminine higher self, and the patient angelics in the middle, with master of the hidden house, of ether, earth, terra, heart, and wrath, or wraith, the breath of life, infinite listening, the ray of mud, heart, and Godspeed. Getting at the underlying energy of the 5 of Cups reverse, getting over emotions. And then I pulled some cards after those from the Rider deck as the Leo King of Wands reverse, workplace gathering to start over and dump emotional attachments. Now that the worst is over, or too much to drink, emotions, tears, and the bliss of ending pain. As the Queen of Swords speaks to all, a sister perhaps, or suffering in silence and can't sleep, stressed, rejected, or a spoiled child, or loss of one. Reaping, assessing worth, stockpiling presence, and rising above. Awakening to temptation, announcement, calls, and a wake-up call. As Leo, Capricorn, and Aquarius are all upright, they could be the 3 wise men right there, where we have happy kids, but also addictions, tooting their own horn, or expecting others to follow the Pied Piper. As the Knight of Cups upright, and their love affair dumping a load, burdens, responsibilities without a choice, with the Hermit reverse, over isolating, or mental issues, or coming out. A question with a question, or schooling the golden goose. As Virgo reversed and Libra upright, which is like the time period we're in right now, where buttons are triggered, or buttons are pushed and people are triggered or overwhelmed, pushed to the limit with tears and sweating, a breakup. As the King of Pentacles upright is being wise, observing, post-war abuse, creative blocks, lack of inspiration, PTSD, and sexual rejection with no affection or touch, and the truth presented to the Queen of Pentacles reversed via a performance, or a, what do they call it when like a stripper goes to the front door, or something-ogram, a strippogram? I don't know what they're called, but that was coming up. The juggling act, the balancing jester, tap dancing around the issue, with the King of Pentacles and Knight of Cups both upright, of Capricorn and Pisces taking like taking off a load, like taking a load off, not to fight another day, as the Knight of Cups is being uncharitable, has given away too much perhaps, or enough. Unable to implement a new path due to the Hermit reverse, which can be a parent who's got dementia or someone going out of their mind, and destined to be overwhelmed, triggered, and the King of Pentacles with comfort and stillness, already faced their fears and exciting creations, adventures, passions, and now with the truth for the Queen of Pentacles reversed, perhaps with Virgo in their chart and a balancing act, or the energy of this time period, with the underlying energies was after the Knight of Swords rushed back with the Six of Wands reversed, shadowing clearly the King of Swords reversed, weak with needing closure one-to-one to get their wish and get over their sadness, loss, and regret. So then we have the links. Let's see where this one is. Last one before the read on the table here. So this is where the rider cards came up afterwards as well. Okay, so first will be this part, and then the rider cards came in afterward. So these are the cards pulled over here, and the underlying energies, and then these cards. So this was on the 28th at 10:20, 21, 22, and 23 p.m. The first deck was the medicine deck, the underlying 18 links, and the first card out was the 16 of the Raven. The second deck is the Fortune's Oracle, the underlying energy of 1 and abundance, and then the 16 Lion. And then the underlying energy of imprisonment and slavery with the Ascension deck, and then the first card out was Egypt. That's a past life deck. Why did I write that? And the underlying energy of the animals from the Ascension deck. Well, maybe those two pictures were reversed. Maybe this one was the last one I just gave you. But anyway. The first card out is the 4 of Gold and Silver Violet Flame. The underlying energy of the 25 Fox, the 5 of the Bear, the Elephant, and your Divine Masculine. The 19 of the Buffalo, the 51 of the Jaguar, and the 18 of the Lynx. The Knight of Wands Hierophant, the LF Ant or Elephant, or the 2 Elk and Moose, your Divine Masculine Sunshine Buff, and the King of Swords Jag, Romantic Lynx, as the 30 Sun, the 6 of the Chariot, the 1 of Abundance, and union with the Sun, the Lover's Chariot, and Magic Abundance. The underlying energy of the baby, spirituality, the imprisonment and slavery. The babies then circle around, 5 to seal the deal. Foxy Teddy Bear and Elephant, the Lamb to Father Ant, blast off Christed or Christ to Ed, Lamb to Father, the time out with your Divine Feminine Sunshine, the King of Swords Buff, Alo, and this energy of the masculine and feminine coming together, the Jaguar and Lynx with Sagittarius, Taurus, Leo, Cancer, and Scorpio right there, where the Raven suddenly calls with magic, the Raven messenger of the void, and a change in consciousness. The black hole in space that holds all the energy of creative source. The blue-black, which was coming up in my post today of hermaphrodite. The iridescence, the magic of darkness, and the changeability of form and shape, which is the feminine, that brings an awakening in the process. The guardian of ceremonial magic in absentia healing. Magic is in the air and something special is about to happen. The deeper mystery is, however, how will you respond to the sparkling synchronicities of this alchemical moment? Will you see it, or will you use it to further enhance your growth? Can you accept it as a gift from Great Spirit, or will you limit the power of the great mystery by explaining it away with smoke signals? If you want to send a message to the Blue Road of Spirit, to call the ancients, call Raven, who knows the ancients, may be calling you. The challenge is the magic moment that came from the void to be brought to the light, honoring the magician within, and today's the magician and the sun. The 51 of the King of Swords stands between the sun and the moon. And the numbers, September to October, this month period is very significant. And again, the energy of 51%, the 33, the magic day, and then 10-4 is a specific day here too, which that day also adds up to 22, right? 8, 18, yep, 22. So that's the start of the Fool's Journey, the magic day, 10-4. It's my friend's birthday. The message received, 2015. As the ant or elk and moose sense what goes around comes around now. The leaf or two, the LF ant. The leaf also is L and F with Ea in between. The union with the sun and the chariot lovers, the horsepower a riot. As cinder Ella, cinder is ash, and Ella is E and A with L between. So now I have Ea between and Ella between. Adam and Eve and the fig leaf in a bright light, a flash of LA, right, which is angels. The whispering bench in deer, to cry and weep. The ark, the bridge, the leap, and the water valley. The bridge introduction, to weep. It's coming up as the bridge or introduction, the naming. To weep, to cry, the ark, the mother, and India, the Indian, which is coming up as Sophia. Now, Sophia energy, the first time I truly connected with Sophia is when years ago when I saw one of my past lives with my twin, and it was the energy, that was the one time I came in as Sophia. And it was my most beautiful life. It was love. It was nothing but love. It was really beautiful. So then I had gone in, the Ascension Glossary came up again with the Mother Ark. And animating spiritual forces of the Aurora Ether or Cosmic Holy Spirit connecting to the Godhead. The 0 point and eternal flame that is merged within the aquamarine founder ray and the arc zone. So this is coming up from Ascension Glossary with Lisa. And I'm not going to read all this, but you can go into there under Mother Ark and read all this stuff. But the Crystal Guardians were coming up, and the 13th pillar of the Mother. Yeah, I don't want to read all of this for you. But yeah, go in there and read about that. But there's stuff that was coming through for me. The aquiline heart beating to reclaim the vertical spiritual connections that make up the great white lion grid, the feline genetics of mother's tetramorph patterns that represent the Sophianic wisdom of the Sphinx return to wholeness through the knowledge of the Divine Trinity. So she's in this section, she talks about the correction of there's Michael Metatron corrections that were made from spinning at 11:11 and 10:10 to what she calls the corrected version of 12:12 and then the 13:13 of the feminine as this magnetic staff, right, turning in the right direction. So the 12:12 would be the horizontal clockwise male Christ elected rod architecture that allows the merge with the vertical counterclockwise feminine Christ, the magnetic staff, to occur. And then she was talking, she brought up the Mother Ark Stargates. So I'm just going to list them for you real quick. Seattle, Washington, Manhattan Island, Phoenix, Adair, Ireland, Stonehenge, Bali, Uluru, southwest of Bermuda, Antarctica, Baghdad, Newgrange, I don't know, Ireland, and Cornwall, UK, the crystal star frequency, and 7 sacred suns. And then she brought up the crystal blue lotus heart, enables function of transharmony gate of the aqua portal, which is, again, the reference, like what I bring up as the aqua rose gold mother's heart, the high heart coming in. But what I was getting at 12:21 here is the violet lotus crown as opposed to her blue lotus heart. So this is something else opening up. And I did a post with that one as well. And then again, she calls the ultimate goal GSF, which is God Sovereign Free. And then those letters were coming up as significant. And they're letters I use all the time, right? So the G, which is the T, and then the arc of the C, so the Christed God of the human. And then the S of Sophia, and of course the infinity and all the other S's that I deal with. And then the F, which is digamma, which is the twin flame energy, also coming up with that. So the divine feminine energy of the animals and the babies and the religious imprisonment thereof. With 18, 1 and 2, with 18 is the Chi, and then the 1 and 2 of the masculine and feminine. This is also coming as 14419, which is again the 144 and the 19 of the sun. And again, the thousand sons of enlightenment. So 19 coming up here is the triple zeros. The water wheel sun of 144, and then the pin was coming up again, the safety pin. The underlying energy of El Moria, 44 dolphin, 23 angels, and 2 of Hercules with the King of Wands and the higher self. Where 2 pi, again, that example that I told you, like the 2 pi's are next to each other, congruent to each other, and you have to connect singly to source and maintain that connection, which then builds the bridge between you, because now you are the Hieros Gamos, you are the gods, right? Connected to your God self perpetually in connection in marriage. So that is the Hieros Gamos, the 2 independent. So that's where the 3rd circle comes in. And it does make it a Vesica Pisces, but it makes it from 2 sides. There's Vesica Pisces from both circles, which then represents the 2 peas in the pod. Connecting independently and only connect through. So the Vesica Pisces is just referencing coming together, that your marriage is what connects you to God. Whereas this connection with the 3rd is you two separately connecting sovereignty to God, to your God self, and then connecting through the sword, right? That bridges the bridge between the 2 of you, the marriage between the 2 of you. So connect independently and then auto-connect to each other in that earthly marriage, equal and congruent side by side. And again, referencing the H of the 1-to-1. And then when the 3rd circle comes in, it literally creates the leaf, right? So it's the H with rounded outside legs or lines, and then the Pisces symbol, which is the 2 inward parentheses with the line down the middle. So it literally creates both of those together. So it's like bringing the nadis of the leaf together. And again, the two circles, it's like the collider. The 2 energies are spinning towards each other, and I was getting they link every quarter turn, and that's like the particles, like the particle smashing happens every quarter turn. That's what I was getting today. Right, because creating more energy. It's like your valves of your veins, right? Creating momentum. And the dancing around the middle. The Raven 16 and the Lion 16 both came up here, and then Egypt with the gold, silver, violet flame, and the 144 plus, the 1000. The black and blue of the Raven and the golden lion. So there's that royal purple and golden energy coming up, and the Egypt of the ET with Rome between. The royal water gold and the strong water of liquid silver, and the lotus water was coming up as the violet flame. So literally, remember when I set my candle on fire, when I put it out with water, it was because there was oil in there. I didn't realize, because I'd put a lotus petal in there, and then I'd put one of my little incense capsules in there. I don't know which one did it, but the lotus flower was in that flame. So here we have the lotus water, which it doesn't stop burning, right? It keeps flaming. The violet flame was coming up there. And again, the energy of the royal gold youth and the liquid silver wisdom, again, referencing Venus and Mercury and Hermes and Aphrodite. And then the power of the violet flame at the crown, the enlightenment. And then Raven was coming up as Rave N and L-I-E-O-N. So the energy of the Raven is the right path to the N, which for me is Christed, or the Lamb to Father energy. And then the L, or the feminine, is the I Christed, right? Because she's already got that energy from the womb in her. So there's a different avenue, okay? So he has to take the path to be Christed. He has to reach out the Father. And then she is the Christed because she's already connected with receiving a baby, right? So the twin towers and the twin pyramids were coming up there as well. And the word lotus was coming up as El Otius, which is Deus Otiosus, which is the neutral God or hidden God, the inactive God. And then Dei Otiosi, DEI, was coming up. And Otium, which is leisure time, to self-realization, eating, playing, relaxing, contemplation, academic endeavors, or retirement. The call of the raven and the lion's roar, E Rome plus GSF, the gold silver flame, the God sovereign free. As then the Irish wish came up. And it was also the yin yang symbol. It has to reflect each other. So it's not just the yin yang symbol. It's two yin yang symbols in opposite directions which come together, which make a circle with the number 8 or the infinity symbol in between. And also was bringing up the time of 6:15, which is the lovers and the devil, right? The light and the dark of the lovers. And Sophia's yin yang is both, right? So the feminine's both. She's already masculine and feminine, right? Because of the ability to carry a child. And then the Irish wish came up here, has IR-ish and W-ish. So IR is, and R for me is the capital R, is the housing that's reaching out, or open house. So I and the open house is 1-to-1. Whereas the wish is the 2 V's, which is 2 creators, is 1-to-1. So 2 perspectives of the same thing. Same as masculine and feminine, 2 perspectives of the same thing, the different paths. But the IR is 1-1 is coming up as the vertical, right? 2 connections upward to source. And then the 2V-ish is the horizontal of the automatic bridge that's built between them as they connect to source. I am and 2 create. And it was coming up as IR is 9 and 18. 9/18 is my birthday. So it's coming up as birthday-ish, 1 with open house. And then the 2V was coming up as VV is also, V is 5, right? So it's coming up as 55, which is the sword of truth. But VV is also 22 and 22, because that's what V is in the alphabet, which equals 44. So 55 and 44 are both coming up for them as the truth and Excalibur-ish, and 44 of Hercules-ish, the harvest and integration. Yeah, and the dance between 5 and 4 was coming up here too, which is freedom and stability, right? Which is the balancing act. And then on the 29th, the first thing, I didn't even pull any cards, and the T was coming up. And the T means in alchemy is the crucible, the night lamp, the melting pot, so to speak. It can be to torment, cross, or censor, but they also do with the same thing, the melting pot, like the United States. The cup-shaped lab equipment for very high temperatures, or in other words, Mary's bath, the underlying bath, to melt metals that is above 100 degrees Celsius, commonly made with graphite, with clay as a binder. Clay as opposed to mud. The hearth of a blast furnace, a very difficult process, trying experience, or refining or hardening process. So just some of the symbols from alchemy were coming up again for me to review again. And with that, the putrefaction came up, which is to become rotten, the splitting of proteins by bacteria or fungi, or rot. But it looks like the trident, but it just has a one direction arrow, as opposed to the trident, which has arrows in all 3. And then the symbol for arrow is like a heart reflecting each other with a line down between the middle horizontally, which was reminding me of the torus. So here we have the torus and the trident of the hour of putrefaction. And then the month symbol is the square with the X in it. And then QE is the quintessence, right, or the ultimate purity of something. And then the delta F and delta R, which is that strong water and royal water we talked about already. and the LF of the light frequency, or the silver, the light frequency, and then the RF of the radio frequency, and the L and R as the light and radio, like the feminine, of the gold light. So it's coming up, the others singly are silver light, and then when you carry both, it's the gold light. Referencing the noise and height of the rainbow bridge between the radio and light and the amplification. The sonar is more pressured underwater with life, and the radio, this is coming up with the QRS complex of the heartbeat, and I'll tell you about that when I'm finished this. So sonar is coming up, and then the elephant of the elk and the moose to cut and sense. The oath of what goes around comes around. And again, I just told you 918 came up with IR, and then it came up again here. The ant and the amp. So the ant means to cut, but it's also the elk and moose, and then the amp is the amplification or amping up. Anu's melting pot, right? So Anu is Ea's father, Ea is Enki, brother to Enlil, and also En means Lord, from Mesopotamia. So Anu's melting pot, the rocket Christed, the Christ to Ed, again the horsepower plus Christ, the tree and crucible, and then the plus sign of Mary's bath amidst the A&P, the grocery store. Mary's bath between the fire rocket and the crucible's housing, or the launch pad, referencing the steam or vapor between them. And then again, the portal energy of the 1111 with the bow and arrow, and the spin of going around in a circle one way, bow and arrow. And then it's funny because my maiden name kept coming up, because cope, it means a lot of different things. It means bend, and it means the cape of protection, and the canopy all comes up with cope. And I saw it in a movie this week, which is why I'm bringing it up. It was about the Brazilian, and there was a scene where all the cop cars were there, and they all said COP on the back. So I'm like, what does that mean? And it has to do with the civilian special police. So of course it's in Spanish, not English. But then quintessence of pure essence, it's also ether, the fifth element. To reduce, be the most concentrated form. To heat, you heat it up to get all the water out of it, right? All the liquid it becomes, and to get it down to its most pure form. And then the energy of the strong water and the royal water of when you melt silver, silver can be melted with nitric acid, but to melt gold, you need 1 part nitric acid and 3 parts it's hydrochloric, yeah. 3 parts hydrochloric and 1 nitric acid. But those are the 2 things I'm bringing up here. The upside down triangle F and the upside down triangle R. So delta F and delta R, the femoral delta digamma waves to radio waves. That's what I was getting here. So digamma is referencing the light from the sun waves or rays, as opposed to the radio waves of delta R, which is the gold. And I'd said there was always something about sonar and ultrasound that had to do with Mary's bath. So from the twin flame open house, or the feminine energy of the twin flame open house and the 2 flames. So remember, like the digamma waves are going to be, up and down, and 2 of them very, very tight together, like the peak of the heartbeat. Whereas the sonar waves is like the sine wave, right? So that's like the other part of the heartbeat around the central beat. So you get where I'm going here? Mercury is salt and the Venus fresh vortex. The marriage of Mercury and Venus is the salt meets fresh here, where vapor equals Eden, and Eden is Ed and En, or father and son. The energy spin, and Christ to Ed. The 144 turns or bends or copes. The water wheel plus the bow and arrow. the resistance of sonar. So think about this. Because of water, there's so much more resistance, so you don't have to go as fast to build up as much energy. The father and son meets mother's planetary spin of E in the den of inequity or imbalance, which references the energy of freedom and balance or stability, going back and forth. And then the codes for silver and Mercury and gold were all coming up here, as silver is AG and Mercury is HG. Silver is 47 and Mercury is 80. And liquid gold, and the things that are considered liquid gold, like colostrum and crude oil, and well, breast milk is colostrum, and then honey, things that are rare and have unique properties. And argan oil also came up in Morocco, and olive oil. And then liquid silver is in the thermometer, which you all know, but also fluorescent lamps and float valves, liquid mirror telescopes, explosives, vaccines, tattoo ink, has mercury in it, contact lenses, hydor and argyros, which is quicksilver, the hydragyrum, transitional metal, which is that between state, the mutable, it's bendable, one of rarest, right? That's why mercury is it's very rare and it's very unusual because most metals don't bend that easy, right? It's the rarest element in the Earth's, one of the rarest elements in the Earth's crust, usually found in cinnabar, and poor conductor of heat and electricity, with weak bonds with elements, so it doesn't make bonds easily. It behaves nobly. Phosphorus layer in fluorescent liquids is to convert UV light to visible. Mercury vapor is more effective gas than regular gas or gas mixture in this to help make things more visible. Bidirectional, so again, the difference in silver, the silver symbol is this, whereas the mercury symbol is this. So you see how Mercury connects with Venus, right? Because they're the same except for the hat that this one wears. So the energy of the bidirectional vapor at very high temperature, where vapor equals Eden, the energy den, the D of the spin, and the Christ to Ed, which is the horsepower at the intersection in the portal to source. The purest, or even to Father, that can reference ETs or Anu. The purest place, the quintessence of spin of up and down frequency, or the 144 water wheel, which comes up as the pi symbol here. Mercury is the mind that transcends death. That's the feminine. Sulfur is the masculine active, the dryness and the heat. And the salt is the body of the masculine feminine and purification, the sodium chloride. The moon silver is moody and tarnishes and is a satellite. The sun is gold and bright and is a star. Mercury is quicksilver and dense and is a planet. And it goes between the star and the other planet, Venus, who's very different because Venus is very hot. It's very insatiable and is copper. And Mars is red with iron. Jupiter is shallow with tin. And Saturn is heavy with lead. Marcasite's also associated with Jupiter. And the Jupiter symbol looks like a 4 and a 21. So again, the lambda leap and the masculine and feminine. And then this symbol here, which I found very interesting, is the aqua vitae, of the V with the S in the middle of it, which is alcohol. It's the spirit of wine or ethanol, rotted, and rotted grapes, as we talked about that already too. The ether, ash, bright light, and high radio, or very bright light and very loud radio or sound. The LF of low frequency light, and the quantum energy of digamma at 90 degrees ADZE, which is a carpenter's tool at a 90-degree angle cut. ADZE. You can look up a picture of that. But again, in cutting light, you're dealing with fracture, right? So the 2LF are all senses and all elements. the sonar and scalar waves, longitudinal waves, the electromagnetic transversal waves. So they're giving the example of ripples. The two electromagnetic waves at 180 degrees out of phase. So it's kind of like singing around, right? You sing around, but then you have to come in at the right point to sing another round for it to harmonize well, right? Otherwise it's out of harmony. The low vibration of the sonar in line with direction of propagation. And my son left that day at 1:44. That was funny too. And again, yeah, so nitrogen is the pi symbol and salt is the line across the circle. So they're coming up as nitrogen is, you know, is nitrogen the first energy of the Big Bang? And then salt is like grounding that. It's turning the key. And they're coming up together as the keyhole, right? Which is the plus symbol in the circle. Which is the intersection. So, and then they were taking me into scalar waves. Because scalar waves have to do with subtle energy bodies. Not just the electromagnetic ones, but subtle energy bodies. They travel greater than the speed of light, and they transcend space and time. They cause water molecules to become coherently ordered. Just like going out and stepping on the earth makes you coherently ordered. Okay? The scalar waves does the same thing, which I'm sure that's why that balances you when you step on the earth. They're involved in the formation process in nature, and not all scalar waves are beneficial to living systems. The 60 Hertz AC emanates a secondary long scalar, typically detrimental wave. The scalar wave entrainment can cancel this wave, so they can transmute this. They have a way of transmuting that into a beneficial wave. And the scalar wave can be sent semi-secretly. Scalar wave is literally considered longitudinal waves, and this is just Wikipedia, I believe, unless I went into a Wiktionary. Scalar are longitudinal waves of potentials. Magnitude but no momentum in space and faster than light. Okay, so scalar basically is neutralizing, and it's like the two spinning together. It becomes neutral. It's like singing around it, and it's the energy of the Kundalini, right? You have the two sine waves crossing over each other at 180 degrees. So the electromagnetic vibrate perpendicularly to the direction of propagation. The scalar, with no E and H field vectors that they talked about in electromagnetics, but can still transmit energy longitudinally over time in all directions via potentials. And again, with the 180 degree out of phase, like the Kundalini, I was also getting like the chromosomes dancing. Canceling out the E and H vectors equals 0 with no force fields. A state of electromagnetic vacuum is formed. So it's like the pin that I described to you. And that's like Vesica Pisces is like 180 degrees out of phase as well. Same kind of energy. And if you pull apart the safety pin, you know, like a lot of other things, you get a penis energy. So you understand where that's coming from. So the scalar is basically 0 point, the quantum fluctuation energy at the temperature of absolute 0 degree Kelvin, or minus 273.15 Celsius, which existed before the world began. So again, the energy of being, you can scream as loud as you want underwater. It's not going to bother anyone, right? So there's all this energy condensed. Sonar is not so loud and creates more pressure without. So there's much movement. The energy through water, ultrasound, plasma, ether, we're all coming up here. Our bodies transmute air into ether. That was just that was my download, but I've been getting that for a while. That we literally are transmuters of air into ether. That's what we do. The ether and plasma equals the portal, the heart and the lungs and the blood, perpetually liquefying of metals, or the metals in our bodies that we use. The heart of ether and plasma, lungs and blood. The plasma liquid gold and the ether is liquid silver. The white light is the rainbow. So there's the same thing as the rainbow, from white to the rainbow. The fracturing into the colors is from ether into the elements. Fracturing of ether is the elements. And then plasma comes up as the space between. That's why it's liquid gold. The pure sound of the Om, O-M or A-U-M, and A-U is gold. And aura, which is A-U, and ray of gold. The gold ray and gold Om of the roar, and A-U-M literally means roar. And 3, and meeting. And aura is a breeze, a breath of air. The air, soft wind, distinctive atmosphere quality, feeling, mood, spirit, vibe, invisible force, plow, wedge, weather, vow, oath, and pledge is aura. Okay, the gold ray is a vow or oath, a pledge, right? Because gold ray, I believe, is the communications. So OM is human M and human ray, the human sound frequency, and light ray. The gold was coming up also as marigold, which is mar, C-I-G, old. Barren, sterile, desolate, dry, no milk, to shout and cry. Gold is 79. Mercury is 80. They actually go together, right? The gold of Venus and Mercury of 80. And then copper comes up 29 as the now present moment. And I also get CU as, when you put C, big C, with little u together, it makes a lowercase e, which for me is like the egg cracked open. So copper is coming up as the now moment. That's why they use copper with stones and metal and resin, right, for neutralizers. Okay, so gold and copper both have U, and silver and mercury both have G. Gold and silver both have capital A, and A used to be written as an F with a down-angled fork, which also is digamma and twin flame. So A was also the symbol for argon before they changed it to AR in 1956. And A is also adenine of DNA and alanine of proteins and ampere of electrical current, and used to be, like I said, that F with the downward slope F. And so digamma FU is coming up. So FU, but the digamma FG isn't like, so digamma FU means just the state of F. And then digamma FG is the action of it, to erect. The fig comes up under that definition, as well as the kidney and the pond, to germinate and grow, whereas the digamma FU is the flux unit, the expertise, the mastery, the pig, the vibe, and the atmosphere. So it's kind of like in alchemy, how the feminine is the space and the masculine is the change. It's the same kind of idea. The aura, so, is the FU ray, and the Om is the FU frequency or vibe, to resonate. The aura is the illumination, the emanation, the projected light, whereas the Om is the resonation. And of course, that has to do with music. The mother's Om is the music, the muse of the inner child. The father's aura is the light and emotion. The mother's music makes father light up his soul. The father's light makes mother want to sing from her heart and soul. The scalar, the waves of scales. The fish and the whale and the dolphin songs. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Where do, re, mi is do, and I posted this as well. I think I posted it today. Do, re, mi. Father, Sophia, angels, and source. Right? Because they want dough. Whether that's money or a nice dear one. So please do, re, mi, Father, Sophia, angel, source, some dough and a dough with copper and one who copes. the spinning planet with humans, heart and soul, ether, heart and soul. And again, the energy of ether and plasma. And the pyramidion was coming up too here. So what I said, as I said before, that when the salt meets fresh, right, the salt earth is Mercury Hermit meets the fresh meat, or Aphrodite and Venus. Together they become the cured vortex of Christed, the energy of the gamma waves, right? And then the sonar, this here is the spinning energy, but then we get into the sonar wave, which basically the gamma waves, those sharp central waves of the heartbeat, are together with the sonar waves, right? So the light and the sound. And the C cures at the Y in the road, and then Madame Curie was coming up. Venus is the VEN us, the creation of JC, us as Christed humans, or venerable us. Aphrodite's, foaming at the mouth, a wise, experienced, old, mature, and illuminant cell, sensitive to light, red root and disordered. Father and goat, Capricorn rod of praise, fame, and honor, his relative. Infinitely inexperienced, young, naive, royal youth who likes to spend. So there's all this energy about Aphrodite, but it's actually about the one who's giving them away. And then we talked about the giving away of girls to marriage or to pay a debt. To get real hot, plasma, and then condensate, which is Bose-Einstein condensate, or freeze-dried was coming up. The Hermit and Aphrodite is coming up also as the mother and child. And the one needs to, the energy of ether, earth, terra, heart, wraith, which is Godspeed, and the heart of the planet with Godspeed, where plasma is 2 SMAs, housing LAS and Ma, housing Angel Sophia Ma. The slow blood, the sap-suckling pest who likes to spend. So again, the energy of the child. Fixing slow and sensual, short on breath from singing. So from plasma, asthma was coming up as short of breath. It's the energy of housing the hangout, the Polish hymn, the housing the hangout where they're slow as molasses, whereas obviously Godspeed's very fast. The Polish hymn also came up here, and Pleiades hymn that needs to breathe deeper. Many songs has to do with the lungs, and moldable, shapeable, like putty in your hands. Air that you breathe and water in your lungs. The air that you breathe is very fast in the ethers and gamma waves. Very slow in your lungs is very slow underwater and sonar waves, which together become the scalar waves of unification of polarity. The digamma twin flame energy with the di-sonar waves, the dolphin with purpose at 180 degrees offset. Disonar means to disharmonize, to be out of tune, or clash of the titans, clash between source and humans. And again, the energy of like many close together waves of gamma waves, and then the sonar waves, which are very slow and spread out, like the sine wave. Dancing slow, side to side, thinking quick, up and down, all while spinning all around, inside out, through and through to the other side. What goes around comes around. The ocean with dolphins, in it at high vibe and pitch. And again, it keeps coming back to the heartbeat, that this is what the heartbeat is, the 180 degrees of separation. The twin flame breaking the light barrier, plus the magnitude of brightness. The dolphins and porpoises breaking the sound barrier in pitch or sound. The infrasonic to the ultrasonic. Lighting up for pulses and echoes. Electric. The dolphins and orcas, the bats and shrews. A salt used as flux in soldering metal enamels, color on porcelain. What letter was that coming? I can't remember what word that was. Maybe pitch? I can't remember. Infrasonic to ultrasonic, and listening for pulses and echoes. The orca dolphins, bats, and shrews. And then the dolphins are lean and friendly. The porpoises are more portly and rare. And they don't whistle through their blowhole like dolphins do. Dolphins do that to communicate underwater, but porpoises don't do that. So yeah, pitch, borax was coming up as a salt used as flux in soldering metal and enamels, color on porcelain. So pitch was coming up here. The rotation angle about the transverse axis, propeller blades, airplane tilts the bow or nose up or down. It becomes perpendicular to the forward direction or propagation, not in direct line of descent or collateral. And notice the word obscure is OBS cure, which is the human embodiment of source, BS cure. So it ultimately comes down to, again, the dance between 3D and 5D, up and down, the dance between masculine and feminine, side to side, and the planetary spin. The two pies coming up next to each other become two phi, right, under pressure for a long period of time in order to, and again, to learn to connect to source, to pop, and to ground, to mother, as they're under a lot of pressure in order to come back into the connection from source after they've learned to connect on their own. Into the Pisces symbol of through and through, 1 and 2 with 3 on top. The 2 peas in a pod, or the pin. Is also represented by 6-9, which is the 2 peas in a pod, the 6-9-8 pod, becoming the 96 back to back and locked in place. He, PO, and she, D, of the POD pod, opening up within to the sun and pulling it in to vacuum. He holds the daughter down and she reaches out to the sun, creating a vacuum. So the scalar waves becomes, which is the infinity symbol basically, you just can't see the third circle. 6-9-8 pod or pin pod, two fall, two perpendicular as one closed circuit. Okay, so you see the 2 circles next to each other, that's the infinity symbol, but you don't see the third circle of the connection to source, which creates the bridge together. And again, also I have the picture of Mercury and Venus standing side by side. And let's see here. All right. And now we have the read on the table. I think that's the last thing. And we haven't conked out. It's 2:22 on the clock, 46. The guidance counselor show of the 46, which is the 6 of Cups, innocent children. Okay. So I don't have any header cards there. So let's see what's going to come up here. I'm going to pull from the medicine deck here. We'll see what comes up for this read. This was done on the 29th. I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck at 8:56 and I finished clarifying at 9:08. And the code line was all about the number 5. The major arcana. The major arcana here is Reflection, which is the Hermit, Reason, which is the Emperor, the Chariot, the Starseed, which is the Fool, and the Solar Deity, which is the Sun. Before the read, the Higher Self and Alchemy came up, which is the Magician. And, I'm sorry, it's not the Magician, it's the Temperance card, Alchemy. And then after the read is the Lovers, Indigo, which is the Magician, Justice, and then the Ascension card, which is the World. We had 1 Pentacle, 2 Wands, 1 Sword, 2 Cups. The Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups are the main players in the read. We have the Knight of Pentacles prior to the read, so we have 3 Knights right there. And then the Queen of Wands after the fact. The code line's all about number 5, like I said. And academics may be coming up, but also AC/DC is coming up in this code line. Alternating currents, after death bridge with 5 knights. And there's that energy of the 5 hands coming together, the one for all and all for one. And the Knight of Wands, flash of light, Sophia sun. Before meals and after death, cable 5, Knight key. The Knight of Wands flashes. So again, flash is coming through again. The Knight of Wands flashes of the sun or solar deity. So Flash Gordon is coming up again too. I'm getting with Gordon, I'm getting G or den. Right? The den of thieves, the den of inequity. So God or the den. All right. One more. All right. The bat just fell down. The bat on the underlying energy is number 42. Let's see what comes up for you guys. Mother, Father, what is the most relevant for all of the people listening today? For their best and highest good, for everyone's best and highest good, for the best and highest good of all those concerned. What is the message here? We have the fox. 25 is the Knight of Wands. I was just talking about the Knight of Wands with the flash of light. And let's see, there's 2 more cards that want to be seen. And this one's popping up from the middle. So that's the raccoon who's spying. 46 is the 6 of cups. And here's the, oh look, on do re mi. And here's the spy who loved me. The 46 of the innocent children spying on the deer. That's so cute. And then we have the fox along with the 23 of the spider and the 38 of the frog, which is the Knight of Wands, the 3 of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups coming together with the Knight of Wands in the den. Look at that. And this one's playing leapfrog over here. Isn't that what we're doing now? And the fox is watching. The fox is like the raccoon over there. But this is the Knight of Wands. Oh, very interesting energy there. All right, let's put this up here. The frog. Remember, this is the frog to the prince, too. So this could be the masculine and their feminine. And the feminine and their masculine, actually. Okay, and I'm going to show you the picture of this read. And then I'm set. Okay, so this is the read. This is the SIRIAN Starseed deck as the main deck, for those of you not familiar. And then the rider for clarifications. All right. So, like I said, the code line, before meals and after death, cable 5, Knight key, and the Knight of Wands flashes, and Flash Gordon coming up, of the sun, solar deity. The underlying energy here of the Hermit reversed, of reflection reversed. And below that's the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Knight of Pentacles upright, the Higher Self reversed, Alchemy upright, and then the 8 of Cups reversed. Preparations, withholding, and playing hardball. Magnetizing the Knight of Pentacles, secret passion for patient angel, uncomfortable and unable to walk away from the madman or the one who's lost their mind. The Queen of Wands reverse, perhaps chokehold or poor judgment, bad decision or indecision exposed, exposing fully the Hermit reversed. Someone could have been knocked out as well. The Hermit reverse is exposed as the sister or suffering in silence of the Knight of Swords reverse, the Page of Pentacles upright, Death upright, the 10 of Pentacles upright, the Page of Pentacles upright, the dreams of being the Dark Knight and the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or wealthy organization, and the uncomfortable emotions of the Hermit reversed in front of a lot of people, with Virgo reversed and Scorpio upright, or career ended before it began. As the recent past is the Chariot upright, in a bold move of the 10 of Cups upright, happy family, with the Knight of Swords upright coming at them, and patient angel with nothing to say, destined to school the golden goose by destabilizing them. With Cancer, Sagittarius, and Libra all upright here, the foundation is the Emperor reversed, next to the Hermit reversed. Recovering the Emperor reversed, unreasonable man in power, or sick, and the Knight of Wands upright rushing in to save the day, taking the Emperor reversed down, or perhaps covering for them or replacing them, as the Hermit reversed who's lost their mind. The central energy, this is reminding me of WWF too, but I did this before I watched that. So the central energy here is the Two of Pentacles upright, surrendering to all that is, the secret passion to be the star and make a fool of oneself, allowing the fall and making the most of it, without a choice, unable to leave, illuminating the Queen of Swords upright, subtle energies, and waking the Page of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles both upright, and challenged by the Knight of Wands with the slow burn, and dramatic Magician reversed, and rejection, a child without their toys, moving to peace, away from the Six of Cups upright, innocence of kids, and keeping it clean, or keeping it clear to the devil, with temptation, and waving to weather the storm, apart from injustice, separation, or separating the men from the boys. The now moment crowning there is the Two of Wands reversed, with no choice, now that the worst is over, with the King of Swords upright and the Wounded Warrior reverse surrendering, in a heated exchange with imprisoned King of Wands reverse settling out, with ex from the past in a split, and no love loss, and abusive battle. Soon here is the Seven of Swords reverse, sending the message to youth. The King of Cups upright celebrates trying to catch them on air before witnessed, and grounding and integrating boldness, with the Page of Swords stepping up to take a swing. Twin flames seeing themselves as the Five of Cups here, crying perhaps in the woods or up Schitt's Creek. What's the TV show? Is it called Schitt's Creek? I don't know. But crying in the woods or up Schitt's Creek, having offered and or received love from an awakened one. The Four of Pentacles upright, Hierophant, keeping their cards close post-war, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, burdened by the Nine of Pentacles reversed, or dependent, or slaving on dependent. Pisces, Capricorn reversed, and Taurus upright here. Or Atlas stuck between the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Nine of Pentacles reversed, which could be a younger woman and an older woman, with the Hermit reversed and the Emperor reversed, and grieving Knight of Cups reversed, in a rejection or jealousy or playing others' emotions, as the Seven of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles are both reversed here, putting out more and more head-to-head around the world, a tete-a-tete, at a distance or in disconnect. As the block here is the Starseed reversed, knocked for a loop, taking a fall or fall from grace, embarrassing self, satisfied performing as a fool, or just doing the daily grind for fear of making a fool of themselves. The challenge being the Knight of Wands, blocked by the Starseed reversed, or arrogant juggler, and separation, heartaches, and heart issues exposed between temptation, addiction, codependency, and the injustice of disillusionment, dumping emotional attachments and rendered weak in front of the Empress upright, or powerful woman, making the King of Pentacles reverse feel badly or ungrounded or greedy, and defending their ground, knocking other players off their high horse, along with the Knight of Cups reversed, Queen of Cups reversed, or feeling their own or failing their own children. Or under the radar, Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues and Capulets, exposing a breakup or love loss and lack of affection, with Indigo reversed, injustice from the past, and looking back at the Queen of Wands reversed, ascending around the world and coming full circle, as the Queen of Wands reversed, Pisces perhaps, or King of Pentacles reversed, knocking the Queen of Wands reversed off their high horse, also took down, in doing that, also took down the Knight of Cups and Queen of Cups reversed, two as one, and that can represent the twins or the children, or Pisces twins perhaps. As main signs here are Virgo and Aries reversed, Aries very reversed, Cancer and Leo upright, Gemini double reversed as well, Libra reversed, and Pisces upright. At 11:07, secret passion and patient angel, uncomfortable emotions and unable to leave. At 11:11, the Hermit reversed, unreasonable man feeling bad about the Knight of Cups reversed, Cancer, or Chariot in a bold move to surrender to all that is, or to all, just in general. The challenge being the Knight of Wands upright and the Starseed reversed, without a choice, exposing it all, the hate, the evil, the injustice, the past, with the Queen of Wands reversed or sex object ascending around the world. Coming out of the gate strong, the Queen of Wands reversed, Leo upright, Aquarius reversed, and Virgo reversed, with the Emperor reversed, giving it up, without a choice, challenged by the Knight of Wands, Hermit reversed, running in, feeling bad and not getting the message, as the Knight of Cups reversed makes a fool of themselves, exposing a break or love loss, or Leo upright with Gemini in their chart, and or Virgo or Libra in their chart, no longer waiting for the Queen of Wands reversed to become whole or complete, or finish her appointed rounds at 11:18, which is Justice and the Moon. Oh, and I already showed you the pictures. I must have missed one. I do have more of the energies of today. I didn't realize it was that long, and I'm going to have to bring it to you. So I might not have had a picture of one of the reads, but I think you already saw this read. This is the Medicine deck, the Fortunes Oracle, Ascension, and Past Life, because a lot of them were in the same order. This is the one that starts with the 20 of the Mouse and 1 of Abundance, 2 of the Animals, and Imprisonment and Slavery. So look at the pictures, and this is the one I'm talking about. But I tell you all the cards, so don't worry about it. The first card out for Medicine is the Black Panther, 52. The first one for Fortune's Oracle is 28 Snake, and the Ascension deck is the 5 of the Gold Ray of Christ. And the Past Life deck is Lessons and Blessings. And this was yesterday. The underlying energy of the mouse on the branch making decisions as the Queen of Swords, Panther, peers through the leaves. After the blank card is the 51 of the Jaguar, the 18 of the Lynx, the 26 of the Squirrel, and the 20 of the Mouse, all watching the one who's watching them. And again, there's this parallel between the cats and Teddy. And here, like, all are seeing Teddy as a much bigger cat, and Teddy also seeing himself as a cat, like he's belongs in their family. He may witness the cats stalking squirrels and mice with concern. And this is before our squirrel incident yesterday. So he may witness the cat stalking squirrels and mice with concern, as the King of Swords, romantic cat, or Cancer, Page of Wands, is mousing around with the Queen of Swords. Starts out Jaguar, but by the time they get there, they become a mouse. The underlying energy of 10 Fire, of 30 and the Sun, 6 of the Chariot, and 1 of Abundance. Destined fiery union, or Libra sunshine, or Sun in Lover's Chariot, 1 for all and all for one. With Cancer, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, and Virgo there, 5 in all at 28, the 2 paths to take. Be careful, the Queen of Swords, as many are watching. And the numbers of 20 and 1, 2 came up. They were all 1, 2, 5s, and 8s. And then the time was 12:25, so again, 1, 2s, and 5s. The underlying energy of the animals after the 51, Archangel Metatron's cloak, and the 11 of the Moon, 16 of Pleiades, and 23 of the Dolphins, the 2 of the animals. The King of Swords can link you to hollow earth with the 12 chakras open, standing in your power with Justice and Libra Moon, aligning with the divine feminine energy. And Libra, it is actually the Libra Moon now. I don't know if it changed in today. I posted, but I can't remember. It either changes today or it's already in Libra. Or it may, I think it changes at 10:19 tonight, actually. Libra Moon aligning with the divine feminine energy as the new moon approaches 16 of the Pleiades, the communications tower, and the 23 of the King of Wands, the divine feminine, Pleiadians, and Dolphin, love, wisdom, and healing. The moon is now cloaked, whereas before, like when Ascension Glossary was originally written, and she does updates and things like that. But the tainted energy has now been cleared, right? Because we get reports from Elena Denon on all the Pleiades stuff that's going on. The moon now cloaked with the King of Swords Libra Pleiadian communications tower, with the King of Wands Dolphins, divine feminine, and animals, the King of Swords Libra and their justice of sudden healing, and Noah's Ark, the King of Wands and High Priestess or higher self, with blessings of freedom, the gold ray, and mastering the hidden house, the 9D Christ unconditional love from the cosmic heart and golden light. Remember to send this gold ray to others as well. The underlying energy of babies. Babies know the mother is there, but have to reach out for the father's 5 fingers, or 4 + 4 and no thumbprint, imprisoned by religion, or finding spirituality while in prison. The baby seeks his thumb, the father's thumb, right? We get the father's finger, but here it's coming up as the baby seeks his thumb, his special DNA to light their way. And the thumb is called pollex, but also pollicle, which is like political, but not. Looking for sign of thumbs up, that it's okay, all clear. The mousy wake-up call to cars and loved ones and wheels of abundance. October 30th may be coming up here, and 61 of taking risk. For destined union, perhaps, with twin flame or union home. The fiery King of Swords Libra or Aquarius with Cancer and or Scorpio, Gemini, Virgo. The King of Swords, Page of Wands, and Queen of Swords here with the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and animals, or the King of Wands present at 28, which is the twin flames or choice of path, or the Y in the road, to 2 and 5, freedom and Hierophant, finding the blessings in being the time traveler's wife. And the clock, the stopwatch on this card is literally 1:51:19, which is the Magician or Divine Masculine and the King of Swords and the 19 Sun. The Divine Masculine Magician, King of Swords, Sunshine, or Gemini or Virgo or Leo. The innocent and vulnerable come together to channel, spin wheels, study, open books to random pages, to bind the pages together with lessons and blessings. A big decision of 1 and 2, or masculine and feminine, to imprison self to learn, to channel, master thoughts and passions, and be young again. The Queen of Swords Kundalini, choice of path, or twin flame Heros Gamos as the time traveler's wife, where time stands still. Perhaps your watch stopped, like mine did, so many years ago, at the time of my birth, on February 19th, 2016. On the way to see you know who. And I went back and was looking at some timelines. Like I said, I went back to look at an old journal, and I definitely felt like I was in another dimension. It was a very weird feeling. So the Queen of Swords was coming through big here, and when I picked up a deck again, the Queen of Swords was on the bottom of the deck. The energies of the Empress and the Tower, but here then the Empress was reversed. And we go from the 20 to the 1 to the 2, which was referencing like from the judgment, the decision, into the 21 and the 22 of the masculine and the feminine, right? Completion of the world. And then moving on to the Fool's Journey, 22. The transition to the Fool's Journey in 5D with the Queen of Swords, Lady Liberty, 52, and the 28 Twin Flame, Hydra, guiding them to a better path. The 5 of the Gold Ray of Christ, and then the GSF was coming up of the God Sovereign Free. God, Sophia, Wise, Ea, and remember God is parentheses with toi in the middle, which is you. The Sophi F of Digamma Twin Flame, and the G of the T leaping in the Christed N energy of up and down, and then the S of the sine wave. The T crucible of the melting pot that's very hot, Mary's bath, with the censer to see. That we are the melting pot with the light to see. The God, which is toi, or you, on the Whispering Bench, I posted this as well, to source human embodiment on the spinning planet. with gamma waves of the push and pull of the twin flames, and sonar waves that are disharmonized. Out of the di sonar is disharmonized, out of tune in clash of the titans, or Ti source, and tans, or humans. The energy of the clash between the gamma and the sonar of the peak wave and the sine waves, and the scalar waves of then singing rounds in harmony with each other, but you have to tune in right at the right point, at 180 degrees apart, like the notes C and F. And then the word gamma, G-A-M-A, with just one A, because gamma used to just be one M. It means to create, to make into something, to reason, name, to cultivate, pay, to milk a toad, and the gamut, the scale, the series, and chewing gum. And gammar, which means to pinch or fall in love. And sonar means an echolocation, to call or buzz, to sound or ring a bell, to be familiar, to play, to blow one's nose, to play music, to sound or ring. So again, you see the light and the sound, how relevant they are. And again, the fire with the air and the water with the earth and the melting pot. And here comes the middle of the hourglass, which is the X in the middle of the infinity symbol. The electric and the magnetic, right? The electric being the up and down, and the magnetic being the sonar waves, and then being a scalar wave together, both being reflected. The gamma waves are scale, because that's one of the definitions. Gamma and sonar wave twined, which is twinned, right? Gamma and sonar wave twinned, or done by scalar wave, are twined and flamed, right? Like braided together and fired up, or twin flames. Gamma and sonar waves twin flamed. The gamma and sonar of the heartbeat, the gamma of co-creating, and the disonar of disharmonizing. Yeah, lots of definitions there. So gamma is ga and ma, and sonar is sun and r. So we have mother and son here. We have gamma of beyond the limit, right? Beyond their usual limits and fed up. The earth and the air of gas and fire. The ox and the bull, the pair. The ray and the radius, the station. Where the sonar, or sun r, is the messenger missionary of grace. Fire, air, gems and metal. Golden thread, the eagle. Angry and sad and ashamed. So the mother and son, the mother is coming up as the light, the radius, and the station, and the son as the sound of the thread, right? And the thread, remember the foam with the strings between them, the cups. The sad thread of the messenger son, with GA and AR, which equals GAAR, which means to reach, done, finished, well cooked, exhausted, annoying, and threaded, to make, collect, and gather. Become. Mother Earth, ox and bull pair, fed up about to explode in a radius at the station. The eagle messenger of grace, bright yellow white, golden thread of sadness and shame. And then again, just the symbols of the heartbeat kept coming up. Save all these. The energies of the heartbeat coming up. Gamma is the mother lode, fed up. The radio state. It's kind of like, right, the gamma is the radio station beyond the limit with phased array radiating out to everything, where sonar is the sun, the host, the messenger, the need to tune in, to thread, to echo back. The digamma duet is the station connections with boundaries placed. And then so the gamma saying is fed up, and then the sonar saying damn it, right? So create boundaries then. Digamma duet is the station connections with boundaries, and then the mother hydraulic water barrier creating a basin or holy grail, a depression, a dam, a levee, or Mary's bath. Disonar is the duet of disharmonization, and onar is the number 10. So dis-10 is to be far from, and dis-thene is kyanite or blue mineral. the blue ray balanced vibration, but due to distance, blue. The mother's dam creating depression between stations. My daughter has my son all riled up having fun. He only barks when he's playing. So, the mother's dam creating depression between stations. The son in dire need to get closer to mother's station. Digamma is also dig ama, or disowner for sonar. And then do-si do is the scalar wave. Do-si doing the scalar wave to come into resonance with each other. So again, difficult light and disharmonic sound until you scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Like I said before. Do, re, mi, please. Father, Sophia, angels, and source. Some do, or perhaps do a deer. I fold or blow up and bridge to State Farm. Honey, if you can't get him to stop barking, can you close the door? I'm just making sure. I have a whole bunch of definitions down here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So, but anyway, again, the gamma waves are scale R. Gamma and sonar wave twined flames. I thought I wrote something else there. Yeah, the other energy of do, re, mi was coming up like, do please put the den together, because we have the words re, mi, fa, so, and la, ti. So yeah, please put the den together. I'm caving into you, Mom and Dad. I'm coming home, right? I need some dough. It was just funny the way it was coming through. So at 8:44, or 8:38 to 39, actually, the underlying energies of the Two of Pentacles, dancing, juggling, and doing the daily, entertaining. As the... Is that it? Yeah, that's something else. I was going into something else, so I think that's it. Yeah. All right, so the message from today, and then I'm done here. So I didn't pull any cards, and radar and sonar were coming up again. So radar is air and sonar is water, and gamma is fire, like the sun. And scalar was coming up as the earth, Terra Gaia, reflecting 180 degrees, the two planetary spins, and then the in-between state of harmony. So RSGS was coming up as, RSGS means red supergiant, random seed glitchless. It also means Royal Scottish Geographical Society, but RSGS is coming up as red supergiant. The quarter turns, or the cog in the wheel, towards each other, the smashing particles, between life and death in Mary's bath. And also, the holy marriage is also coming up, gamos, as moral compulsion. The scales of harmonic convergence. And so the sun outside, it was wet outside when I went out this morning from the rain. And I'd written down wet and then sun with a question mark. And then wet sun was coming up here with the sine wave. To be fire and water at the same time. The etheric molten metal, the liquid molten metal, the plasma ether. And plasma ether is P and A, like Pa or father, but also Pennsylvania. So it's coming up as father in Pennsylvania. The heat causes to rise past your limit, causing you to sound off. The hot air balloon and yelling out the window, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. The moan of the whale, to give rise or trigger and let it all out and scream, release, expire, breathe out, ventilate, breathe in oxygen and out carbon dioxide. The escape hatch, panting, to lose heat. The height of the orgasm, of heating up and sounding off. The rise and release at the same time. So then they had me break down Pennsylvania, which is the P house of JC, normal saline, or north to south, and the whale or howl, create on and Ea, the Father and Son. The pen of the Christed, right, the Son to the Father, of the beautiful iron pillar, the all, AWL, the whole maker. A department used, not a department, but adept, an adept who's used to something or experienced, to beg or implore, to go outside of, futile, vain, idle, fruitless, to vanish, dissolve, or disappear. And then in Pennsylvania is also Vanya or Vani. And one of the definitions there is number 4, which is the lambda leap. Outside, abroad, overseas, custom and the custom in Pakistan of giving minor girls in marriage in servitude as compensation for dispute or murder. So this all came together as Pennsylvania. The tool or pen of Christed, Father to Son, is a beautiful sword, which is S word. The iron hole maker. The sword, the S word, Sophia's word, or shit. To force to create, or foresee and intend or plan. Pen sees the LV, which is 55. The truth, the 55 is the Ace of Swords, is the truth, the Excalibur. And the left ventricle, which launch, and the launch vehicle. The latent variable, that which is level. The liquid volume and low voltage, and love. That there exists both the speaker and the listener, both the intention and the creation. Pen C, you must love with truth, the sword, and Sophia's word, to use word, the woe road of wailing in pods and saying shit. That's the S of Sophia and the H of 1 to 1 saying, shh, you're it. The sine wave of 1 to 1 that's sealed, delivered. You're it. The one who lives of ED or Mr. Ed, the temple spin, of the temper and pull of PLE of the temple, the push and pull to spin. The Sophia's pin, or housing in, and vacuuming. So notice the sun, which I posted today, and spin is the same word, except it's Sophia and Christ with U in the middle, or Sophia and Christ with pi in the middle. And U is 21.3, and pi is 3.14. So it literally comes up as the spin of pi in the gamma waves and sine waves, where U between are the pi sharing evenly between. So the U, the letter U of sun, is U between the 21 of the world and the 3 of the mother, or the eagle soaring horizontally, the divine feminine of 2 and 1 and the 3rd. Whereas the spin with Sophia and Christ and pi in the middle of 3.14 is sharing evenly between the 3 of the mother and the eagle, at mother and son, at 0 point, with the 14 of the angels, or 1 and 4 of the magician and the emperor. Then the 3 equals the all, AWL, which is the whole maker. So the feminine is the sword here of 1 for all. And then ALL is 111, which is, again, the pi symbol. So the picture of the pi, it was coming up as the mother is the 3.14. The father, magician, emperor magician, is the angel, who's the picture of the pi as opposed to the 3.14. So she's the all, the whole maker, AWL for 1, or 1 to 1 of the H, and the whole maker is the portal. She makes the portal. And he is the emperor or the angel food cake. So she makes pie and he makes angel food cake. He's the picture of the pie and she's the 3.14. All for one and one for all. As the elephant comes up as anger that we release, and the whales, the sadness that we release, right? So the elephant is the LF ant at 90 degrees. The light fractured, or the laser, the fracture and fractals, or panting to release the heat. The light to cut to release the heat. So the elephant breaks you, right? The elephant's big and heavy, right? And strong, broken and panting, a lot of heat to release. The elephant is to break you, to heat up so that you will surrender. Like you can't surrender until you get angry and stomp. They stomp on you, they trigger you so that you will yell and give up and release and surrender. So the elephant angers and the whale's sadness. So it's like it's teaching the feminine to be angry and scream to let it out, and the masculines to wail in sadness. And yeah, a beautiful ending there. And let's see, where are we? We just hit 3 hours and 38 seconds. 3 hours, right on the dot. So just a quick card from Messages of Love. Let's see what comes up for you guys. I should read you the fox from the medicine. A little bit of that. All right, Messages of Love for the best and highest good of all those concerned. Okay, what is the message? You have learned the spiritual lesson. And the underlying energy was rejection, that this rejection was actually divine protection. And now you have learned that lesson. Children are an important part of this relationship. And you already know the answer you seek. Wow. This is a divine counterpart connection, twin flame. Wow. That's never come up. I'll leave that here. I need to move the die. Okay. Wow. I'm not even going to read the fox. That was really good. So as you well know, make sure you drink plenty of water, clean water, get plenty of rest, and make sure you get plenty of nature and joy, and as well rise and be love. I will see you next time, guys. Bye.